Hi, friends. We are back after a very brief intermission from Brunchquester. We are here to talk about last night's incredible mini. It really was a good one. I felt like it had all stars, not so much hype, but when we saw the rooms, there was definitely an all-star vibe involved, and we got a great winner, a winner we have been waiting for quite a while. Let us bring in the panel to start out. We have Susie, Tim, Roger, Lana, Legend, JL, Charles, and the winner herself, the legend, Robyn, the queen from Queens. How are we all doing?
Well, I'm doing well.
Doing good.
Doing really good.
How was everyone's sleep? I was going to say, how was everyone's sleep after last night? Never easy.
I slept really good.
I went to bed at 7 a.m. Not great.
So,
I will say, I'm always consistently amazed when I message people to come on and I realize that they've still been up from the night before, but they still show up, and I appreciate that. We appreciate the dedication to Podquester. And it was a great night. I guess first things first, to start off, what did we think when we saw the starting, the videos? Because there were definitely recognizable names. Like sometimes it's kind of completely new, and I feel like last night we saw some people, I think partly due to Audrey's plea for women to apply. I feel like we saw a lot of familiar faces. What was everyone's thoughts as the veterans, as the newbies? What were we thinking when we saw the people who were on the screen?
Watching Robyn react like 8 to 10 seconds before the rest of us saw it was incredible every time, because she would just be like, and like, okay, who's coming? And then they would pop up because her stream was ahead of everyone else in the room.
Yeah, I was really gagged. When I came into the room, the only person I kind of knew that was playing was Jennifer. So I knew we were kind of going to be in the same room. I was gagged to see Susie there. When the video started playing and I started seeing Legend and Charles and Lana up in there, I was like, what? Like, I was so afraid. Like, going into these fresh minis as a veteran, you're really scared because, like, you're probably going to be one of few. But there was a lot of vets in this cast. So I really appreciated that for me.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
Sorry, I didn't really know very many of the people in this mini. Like the only thing I knew really is that I saw Dina had her name as an @ in the room, so I knew she'd played before. But that was pretty much all I knew, and I was getting really intimidated watching everyone's like super high production valued intro videos.
Mine was so basic. I just did a quick video. I was afraid I wasn't going to meet the deadline, and then I submitted it. Then Audrey said, "Oh, I'm looking for more women." So I was like, I could have taken time and did it, but it goes what it is.
Like, you don't necessarily need a high production value video to really let your personality shine through that. And I think that like nobody was like super extra in their video, but I feel like I got a clear sense of who everybody was just from those seconds of you talking. So if your personality is bright and shiny enough, you don't need high production.
Yeah. I feel like it's one thing to be a newbie player, knowing the people who have played before and having to stand up against that. It's another thing to have no idea who's played before and doing it for the first time. I feel like that is very hard to do, having no idea of the logistics of the game. Hi, Dina.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that was as like a total newbie. I recognized Dina and I recognized Robyn, but everybody else, no clue.
I only recognized Robyn and Charlie, and that was because Charlie is my beat. Whatever, that's my bestie right there. But I realized that Dina was I knew that she played before because when she was talking to the moderator, she was being very friendly with them and like acting like she know. And I'm like, oh, noted, she played. And then that's when she told us later on, she was like, oh, I played before. And I was like, oh, noted.
I tried not to be so friendly with the moderators, but Joe the show wasn't fucking paying attention, and I needed to get his attention. And so I had to scream his name, and I couldn't be all elegant and like Maud.
Yeah, it's just started saying his full government name. I said, "Oh, God, you know him." I said, "You know this man."
Yes.
He's been here before. I said, "I know this."
Joseph
you,
T.
Joe.
Joseph T. Show. Full
Joseph T.
legal
Show.
name.
Exactly.
I do want to comment because I feel like that was our initial conversation on commentary. I feel like a lot of people's initial thought process when they saw the rooms was the fact that Robyn and Jennifer were in the same room. Robyn, what were your thoughts initially when you saw that y'all were together?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I knew Jennifer was playing. She reached out to me after she saw the message from Audrey wanting more women, and she reached out to me and asked me if it was gonna be okay. And I, so she contacted Audrey to say that we were cool because now, we've moved past our like drama and stuff. So I knew she was going to be there. I didn't know we were going to be in the same room, but I think it was better for Audrey to put us in the same room because we knew each other was playing. So.
Absolutely. And I think, we'll discuss it more as the time goes on, but I think that storyline was it was great. I feel like it all came full circle, and it was definitely nice to see. So going into round one, which seems to be kind of becoming tradition now, we're starting with now or later. So it was either vote in the first round or vote when we get to final 12, which is big stakes to give up your vote that early, not knowing what the game is going to hold. But this was the round that ended in Roger's elimination. Robyn, you came out very early and said it was your birthday. I had to check on Twitter, was not sure that it was in fact your birthday, as we've seen multiple people lie about that, but it was in fact.
I wouldn't lie about it. It wasn't my birthday when I played, but it was when I won.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we saw very early on in the round, a final four made between Dina, Legend, Charles, and yourself, Robyn. And it was good that you all got into a room that early, I feel like. What were the thoughts there? Obviously, when you saw the videos, you probably had an idea, but was that something you were definitely loyal to till the end?
Yeah, as we saw how it played out, of course, we wanted Charles to be there with us, but unfortunately, that wheel came and swooped him up. But that I didn't know who I wanted to be in a final four or whatever. I obviously knew I wanted to work with Dina and Charles and Legend. And then fate brought us into a room together to solidify a four.
And I feel like the main Roger for you, it was really just your internet. And I feel like...
Is it better now? I think it is now, but...
Yeah. I feel like it was better after you left the room, honestly.
Yeah,
but
I left
that
the
first
room and then
portion...
it was better, but after that, it was like... I didn't know what I was going to do. And I can't even guarantee people were going to vote, so it was really difficult to navigate that.
I would say the only reason why I went with Roger was because we had made a room agreement, and then I heard Tim and Roger's name, and I was like, "Oh no, we're doing Roger." I said, "Because Tim cannot go," because me and Tim connected while we were just sitting there, because he started playing rock paper scissors, and I played with him. And I said, "Oh, I like him. I don't like him, but I like him." I said, "So we got to keep Tim safe." So bye, Roger. No offense.
Roger was in my starting room, and I really didn't want to go for him because I know he did have that tech issues, and he would probably get tech back, not knowing that his tech was all good when he left the room. But I didn't want him to go, and I was the one pushing Tim. And then I got into a room with Legend and Dina and stuff, and they were like, "We don't want Tim. Let's do Roger." And I was like, "Okay." And then we agreed that two of us would vote this round, and then two of us would have the votes at 12.
Yeah, when Robyn started pushing Tim, I was like, okay, well, I have to go for Tim now. So then I was like, that was all I was doing. I was just pushing Tim. Sorry, Tim.
I was actually surprised as many people voted as they did. We had 8 votes in the first round, which typically I feel like if you think, as long as your name's not going out, you probably want to save it for 12. But we saw a decent amount of people actually putting in their votes. And I feel like it was mostly between Roger, Tim, and also Michael. Michael was having a lot of tech issues as well. And it was actually impressive he left as long as he did, because he was laggy all night. But it was kind of, when you have tech issues that early, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. It's really hard. It's really hard to combat. Roger, what did you think? Had you waited a while to actually play this game? Like, what were your thoughts going in?
This was so Yesterday was the first day I applied, and I wasn't expecting to get in right away. So when I got in, I was like, oh crap, okay. So then when I had all the tech issues, I was like, okay, this is probably isn't going to go very good, and well, see what happened.
Yeah,
I think I'm definitely gonna play again. I think it's gonna be better if it's like this.
Yeah, I feel like as long as you have solid internet, I feel like you could have went a lot further. That was legitimately the only reason you got picked off, because it was an easy vote.
Well, that's good to hear.
We appreciate it, Roger. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Thank you. Great meeting you.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks so much, Roger. So nice to meet you. I didn't meet you yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Same here.
I didn't meet most of you.
I didn't get to meet you yesterday.
I didn't get to meet you, Roger.
It's okay. Okay. Bye.
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 All right. So that brought us to round 2. And this resulted in, I would say, one of the bigger shocks, in that Susie got booted round 2, which I don't think many people expected at all. But after a successful LOS by Drew, it was a tie between Susie and Jennifer, and it ended up with Susie's elimination. So how did we get there? It was initially room 1 in danger, which was Javier, Drew, Robyn, Jen, Jody, and Susie. Let's discuss a little bit about this. Yes,
Louie, you're forgetting. It was initially room 4. Safe.
5 times.
2,000 times.
The way we had our players,
and me screaming at the top of my lungs that was the room 5 spot that was taken over and over again. But go on, Louie. Go on.
Yeah, it was impressive how safe that room was. If anybody's ever looking to be somewhere on a wheel, like, go there, because I think it was proven.
Next game, room 4 is definitely up.
Yeah.
I feel like room 4 used up all the luck, though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like now for the next 8 minis, room 4 is going to be the one who gets nominated.
Right.
Too much. But sorry, go on.
Yeah. So how did we get the tie? Because I feel like basically everybody was pushing Drew in the early rounds. And I was curious about the Drew push. Like, how many of you were aware that he was a part of, obviously I know some of you were, but how many of you were aware that he was a part of the live game in season 3?
Oh, I did not know that.
That's why I wanted to try to get him gone as quickly as possible, because I knew no one beat him at the end.
I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, I didn't know. All I know he was really cute, and I didn't want him to go, but it was like the other girls were in the room and I couldn't vote any of them. But I would say, Susie, at the last minute, I was afraid there might have been an LOS play, and I don't know if it was just my one vote that caused the tie, but I was like, I need to throw a vote on someone here, because if he plays an LOS and he votes for me, I'm out. So I threw a vote on Susie and ended up in that tie between her and Jennifer.
And Susie, what were your thoughts? Did you think that you were going to be in danger going into that round, or not particularly?
At the start of the round, I was concerned, and then when the round was happening, I was like, okay, it's basically all I'm hearing is Drew. I was throwing out Javier as a secondary name, but I don't ever throw my vote, and so I voted for Drew, and I clearly should have voted Javier. I figured someone else would, but no one did.
Yeah, I was afraid I would have been that person that got LOS'd out, so that's why I had to throw it. And I thought I could work with Javier going forward. And honestly, that was when the tie happened. I thought people were gonna vote Jennifer out, but I wasn't gonna do that, obviously. And I just stood in the room. People came in. I was like, I'm not voting Jennifer, but y'all could vote however y'all want.
Yeah, I remember being super surprised by that result, because I went to 3 rooms and heard literally nothing but Jennifer's name.
Yeah, I was so confused. I
don't know how that happened.
I think what changed it for me was I think Dina had said something about, guys, Jennifer's going to be a target moving forward. Why are we not just taking out Susie? And it clicked, and I was like, you know what, Dina's good. I'm gonna follow what she said.
Sorry, Susie. I just knew that Jennifer was always gonna have my back. I would have wanted Susie to be in the game longer, and I wanted to play with you as long as possible. But when you're in a round of 2 people, you have to do a binary decision. And so ultimately in a binary decision, I knew that Jennifer is someone who has like a proven track record of the types of people she works with and the types of people she wants to vote out. And I wasn't going to be one of those people. And that was the only parameter of it. But ultimately in a different game, I think Susie would probably be like one of my number 1 people and someone that I'd want to go really far with. But that's just part of like the flexibility that I have to have in the game, because I'm always going to be a target, where if I wasn't going to be a target, then I could just be more playing haphazardly and just kind of like, oh, I like this person more, so I want to keep them. But yeah.
Here's the thing. I didn't know who Jennifer was coming into the game.
Same.
So I didn't know that, Robyn, you had history with her at all. I really appreciated you just like straight up telling me to my face.
Yeah.
You were just like,
I mean, I thought you
had
had the votes to stay. That's why I didn't really campaign for you to go. I was just in a room by myself, gathering my thoughts, and everybody kept coming in. Like, who are you voting? I'm like, I'm voting Susie. Y'all can do what you want. I can't vote Jennifer, sorry.
Yeah.
And I think the only pitch I gave out, I think, was to Logan, and I don't remember who the second person was. And then when you came in, the only pitch I was like, the only thing I would say to keeping Jennifer over Susie is that Susie's a bigger target.
Yeah, which Logan was never gonna vote for me. So like coming into that room, I was like, I love it.
Speaking of Logan.
Hi.
Yeah, so coming into that room, I was just like, all right, how do I get out of this conversation as quickly as possible? But then the round ended.
Yeah, I think Logan didn't vote you, though, to go.
I didn't. I voted out Jennifer.
Yeah, I felt like the votes were pretty evenly split. I'd be curious to actually see what the final vote count was for that vote, because everything that we were hearing
really close
was really back and forth. I think a lot of people's drafts took a hit when Susie went out that early. And it was interesting too, because people like painting you as a target, you haven't really played that much.
Okay, that was really wild to me, because I've only played 3 times, and I like did really, really poorly 2 of those times. So I didn't understand at all where that narrative was coming from.
I'm telling you, I think it's the Hunger Games outfit. Everybody remembers the Hunger Games outfit.
Honestly, I can't lie to
Oh
you.
my
I
God,
literally did remember the outfit. It was like so incredible. And then when I saw you doing your needlepoint, I was like, all like came together, and I was like, oh my God, that's Susie. I want to work with Susie. And then it was like, oh my God, fucking Susie's already gone. Like, what the hell just happened?
Tragic. I didn't even make that much progress this time.
I know, but you have a killer inside that's ready to come out and play.
Absolutely.
Okay. The running joke is that I can't win until I finish the cross stitch. So I just have to keep coming back and keep cross stitching.
Hey, I played 11 times. You know, your win is coming, girl. Keep playing. Keep applying.
Everybody needs their thing. That's your thing. Your cross stitch and Dolphin Queen, both.
Dolphin Queen.
I counted how many dolphins.
yes, I was writing down.
I did too.
I don't even know how many there are. So,
So Susie, what were your thoughts overall? Obviously, it didn't go as you expected, but what were your thoughts on the night?
I mean, going into it, I knew that I wasn't gonna get very far. I just had a weird feeling. But like going into it, like watching videos, I was like, these are all people that I really want to play with. So like, I'm really sad that I didn't get to, but I'm really happy that I got to like meet everyone. So ultimately, like I'm happy.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll see you again soon in the near future.
We're gonna play so many games together, Susie. I'm so excited.
Can we play?
Susie, I adore you.
I love you guys.
I do too.
100,000%.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. All right. So that brought us to round 3, which is another round we're seeing a lot, which is a very, very difficult round to maneuver, which is you need exactly 6 votes. And it was very clear, very early on, that none of you were going to get 6 votes on anybody because it was so scattered. And everyone knew it was going to a wheel. The question was just going to be who the wheel was going to land on. And unfortunately, to the dismay of the audience and entertainment around the world, it was Charles.
In the game, we were shook.
All upset.
Y'all, it was so close to Lana, and I said, I like Lana, but Lana gotta go. I said, Lana.
No, my favorite thing about that round is during the tie, I pop into a room, and for the first time in the game, I see Dina, and I'm just like freaking out because obviously it's Dina. And so I'm like, Dina, what's happening? She's like, I'm trying to find one more for my 6. And I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to find, I think it was Jody. I'm trying to find Jody to make sure she's with our 6. She goes, wait, who are you voting for? And I'm like, Michael. She's like, fuck us too. And I'm like, okay, so it's a wheel. So it's a wheel. I'm going to a wheel. It's fine. Like,
let's just hang out now. This isn't gonna work.
Yeah. Like, hey girl, how are you?
Yeah. And there were also a lot of situations, like there were a bunch of people in room 1 who refused to say a name, who basically went the entire round just kind of going around in circles without anyone throwing out anything. And especially in a round that is this quick and that you need such a specific amount, there's just no way to maneuver it. Did it get any closer the second time around?
No, I don't think that.
I doubt it.
If I was gonna make like a production request, I think 5 is a really tough number. I think like 4, if you have like room limit of 4 and then people can get like on 4 and then move, but to have 5 and then have 5 people going out trying to find
and then try to get one more person.
It was just like bananas.
Because both rounds, for me at least, I was in a room with, oh God, I think it was Drew, LQ, Jody, and somebody else, and we were trying to get this. We were trying to get a 5, or we had our 5, and we were trying to get a 6, and so we were jumping around and like seeing who the next person to come up in the room was. And then at one point, I was like, "This ain't gonna work. Let's all just split up. Hope for the best." But I don't know.
Yeah, that was
good. When the first round ended before the tie, after the tie, I was in a room with 5 people and we all said Michael. So I was like, okay, that's the name. Then I jumped into another room and they were saying Charles. And I was like, Charles, I ain't doing Charles. No, and I said, we're doing Drew. Like I said that in my other room. And I don't know if it convinced anybody to vote Drew, but I didn't vote Drew. I still voted Michael. And it ended up still going to a wheel and getting Charles out. I was like, fuck.
I think like half the game must have voted for Michael.
Actually, I did.
I also voted for Michael.
In the tie, I threw my vote on Robyn, so that way I couldn't vote for her and history can't repeat, and we all saw how that went for me.
I voted for Drew.
Anyway.
I guess you said to vote for Drew. It worked on me.
I will say the one thing that made me feel a little better, even though it was very disappointing, Charles, there was some traction on your name that round. It was actually Tim who threw out your name to try to get a few votes on it.
Tim, I will just say that the
wheel did karma
for life. No, not karma, but I mean, I am a very much so that type of person that confrontation fuels my soul. And Robyn
girl, I was getting ready
through my name out. And I would have
everybody's name in that room.
I'm just saying we jump. Ain't no fair fight when you coming for Charlie.
And I mean, listen, whenever I hear somebody throw my name out, I literally go on a personal mission. I don't care what the end result is. I will hop to every room until I see you. And if it is a room limit, I will sit there until somebody leaves. And if you leave, I'm leaving too. Because like I said, confrontation fuels my soul. And when I have a moment to confront somebody, I take it. So the wheel kind of, it spared you. It was good.
Yeah, I threw your name out because I was like looking at my notes and you were like literally the only person in the game who I hadn't been in a room with for more than 30 seconds. And Jennifer was like, Tim,
Which
say a name. Tim, say a name. And I was like,
I love it. I love, Tim, that you played so bold. I love it. Yes.
And I am a little bit happy that the wheel protected you, but then took you out, Tim.
The wheel shows no mercy. The new wheel, NUWHL.
You got a little celebration at the end.
A little confetti.
Charles Impact, you know.
Not even a full circle.
Can we all congratulate
Not even
Charles
a full circle.
The Insta wheel.
The racist wheel.
Right.
Okay, if y'all watch back, I literally, when she said, okay, we have to vote again, I told my room, y'all, this will is racist. We cannot go to a will. A POC will leave. Trust me. And they're like, you're so right. And then when the wheel started spinning and I saw my name getting closer, and if you watch the video, I'm just sitting there like,
you know,
this is it. It's about to land on me, and I probably manifested it, but I always rather go out early or play the game to the fullest all the way to the end, because I'm not like a middle of the road type of person. I'm the type of person you need to get out when the game first starts, or I'm going to be there at the end. So it felt nice to not be voted out.
I will say, Charles, there is very much a clear history in Sequester of people being wheeled out and then doing very well after. So
I feel like that is
my
last Patreon game.
Yep, I feel like everybody took that.
Although I will say, for anybody watching, I am not that good of a player. I have played Sequester 4 times. I have played 4 times, and I have been the first.
Charles is the worst Sequester player.
No,
ever.
like for real. The first time I played, I was going like 3rd. The second time I played, I was going 2nd. Okay, we're not gonna talk about the 3rd time.
Yeah, third time.
That one don't count. And then this time I was 3rd out. So like, I'm a poor player. Remember that. If you
pre-jury all the time.
I am a pre-jury flop.
There you go. Charles, it was sad to see you go. But I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Thank you for coming on.
No, love you.
I'll call you later.
Love you so much, Charles.
All right, so that brought us to round 4. We'll bring Joey in the hat in.
Joey!
We love Joey in the hat. Look at the hat.
Yes.
Hi guys. What's going on?
The hat was my favorite part of last night, honestly.
Thank you. I do appreciate that very much, guys.
I told you,
it was to see all of you again.
The dramatic put on of the hat.
Big Hat, because that's the only thing I can remember from his video. So his name was Big
Hat.
Notes.
I literally considered making my name Big Hat Joey. At the bottom.
That has to be your name for your next game.
100%. You are Big Hat Joey now.
I've got an idea for another video. I'll put it that way.
Ooh. Everybody needs a thing. Yours is the big hat.
I guess.
So in round 4, it was another one that we're seeing a lot, was the most and least votes, which always results in a tie for the least amount of votes. Basically every time that they have done this. So the most votes went to Drew, and the least votes was a tie between Mallory, Jesse, LQ, and Legend, which resulted in yet another tie and yet another wheel and the elimination of Tim. A lot of wheels.
Yeah.
How did we get there in this round, and how did it end up going?
So I was in
a mess
with Drew or whatever, and I was telling Drew that I did not want him to go, and I was being serious because that man was fine, and I wanted a final 2. Drew was a final 2.
Yes, Legend.
Me and him was a final 2, but Natalie would not leave. I tried to get Natalie to leave, so I know I was trying to say, Drew, what do you want to do? Because Drew was nervous about him being the majority vote. So I was going to vote Michael with him, but I was nervous about me being the minority vote because me and Jesse had talked, and Jesse was going to throw a vote on me, and I was going to throw a vote on Jesse. But I was going to change my vote to vote out Michael. But I was like, no, I got to save myself because I can't be saving Drew and not saving me. But that's what happened, basically.
Who did you vote out? Jesse that round?
I voted out Jesse because Jesse was sneaky. Jesse was out here. Every time I would throw out somebody's name, he would always try to give me a new name and tell me no to that person. So I'm like, okay, you're like outwardly protecting people and telling me what to do, and I don't like that. Don't tell me what to do. You are not my mama. You are not my daddy. Okay.
I voted for that round. So
trying to see who I voted that round.
I voted for Natalie.
I also voted for Natalie because we had a 5 on Natalie. It was me, Dina, Robyn, Jesse, and
Oh my God, y'all
Michael
could
had
have
a
told me I would
5.
have voted Natalie.
Yeah,
I didn't see you.
I voted Joey that round.
Ow.
Just because your name was not coming up, and I was like, okay, my name is not coming up, so somebody could throw one vote on me. So I know the lowest amount of votes, it can only be one. So Joey's name is not coming up, so I'm going to throw a vote on him. And yeah, so that's
I did
what
the same
did.
thing. Yeah, I threw a vote on LQ. I think because he was the one person I hadn't seen all game, so I was like, all right, yeah.
I also did the same thing as Robyn. I threw my vote on Joey. I'm like, that man has a hat.
I'm glad you both did, honestly. Thank you.
Right, I made him not get the least amount.
I think I threw my vote on Robyn that round because I felt confident there were going to be a lot of people.
Oh my God!
Drew.
Then somebody voted me too.
Yeah, someone else. I think we were talking about that in Twitter. Jesse also voted for you. We were in the same room and we were about to coordinate who we were throwing votes on, but then the round ended. So we didn't have time to make sure we only had one vote on
That's
Robyn.
what I was afraid of. That's why I threw votes too. Because I'm like, he's already going to be in the majority. I know that's already done. So I need to figure out who's going to be the minority, and I don't want it to be me.
I was worried about Drew getting another LOS because the stream was so fucked last night that I had no concept of who was doing what, and I couldn't even really focus on people's faces as much as I typically do because I was so chaotically trying to refresh, and I didn't even get anything until final 6 when everyone wasn't paying attention. But I felt very strongly that if Drew got the LOS the first round and his name was running around so high in the majority, I never saw him in the game really ever, that I needed to at least get a Natalie push through so that we don't have a situation of a 3 and a 1 going home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm a liar. I voted for Mallory that round because she asked me to. Sorry. She asked me to. I didn't want to do it either.
Yeah, we were in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard round to maneuver.
Getting her in the tie.
Why did
I voted her in the tie.
Did she think that
I voted LQ in the tie.
I don't remember what happened specifically. I think she was worried.
I voted Legend.
In the tie, I voted Legend also.
Yeah, I knew Legend was going to be fine. I think he was getting the majority there, but I was afraid for LQ, so I tried to throw a vote on him so he could stay.
The only reason I voted Mallory was because she popped in a room right before Legend did. And so I was like, I like Mallory, sure, let's vote Mallory. And then Legend popped in right afterwards, and I was like, well, I kind of promised my vote, but I didn't say that, but I should have.
You did say that, and that's why karma got you later on. Anyways, back to the program. I was so scared. I said, but I was scared that I was about to go home, but I was like, if it tied, then I'm safe, so I don't care. Let it tie.
Yeah. How do we feel about the new wheel in general? Do we like it not spinning and there being no dramatic?
No, it should never come back. Ever.
I love every single time. It would be like, pew! I would laugh and laugh and laugh. Pew, you're a winner. Go home. Come on.
Congrats. Go away.
Congratulations.
I do think the conversation has started as of last night for people to start thinking of ways to replace the wheel in terms of what else we can possibly do that would replace the wheel. That could be maybe more skill involved. That way, at least if you go home, you deserve to go home and it's on you. And you could say, okay, at least it's my fault.
I suggest that we, like they play at Mets games, they have a bunch of different trains and it's a different race that ends in a different way every time. Sometimes we do it with marbles. We could do marble races. That's my point. That's my suggestion.
Are you a Mets fan, Joey?
Yeah, I grew up in Queens.
Same, Flushing.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Woodside and Sunnyside. So
there you go. So much Queens representation on the panel.
Yeah, we got a little Mike Piazza.
Arizona.
So Tim, what were your thoughts? I mean, obviously it ended a bit too early, but how was it playing your first game?
Yeah, it ended a bit early. It was a really fun first game, and I'm super happy that I got to do it with this cast where everyone was super awesome. I do have a pretty stinking suspicion that if I didn't get wheeled out, I was gone within 2 rounds. because I still haven't gotten the hang of when I need to move on between rooms. So I felt like I only had strong social connections to like 3 or 4 people. So I feel like eventually down the line, my name was just going to be the easy vote. So I feel like the wheel only really hastened the inevitable.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, your name was pretty strongly out there already, but
exactly.
Yeah. Are you planning on playing again anytime soon?
Absolutely, as soon as I get the chance.
Yes, you better.
Hey.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to see everyone from this cast play again. Period.
Yeah.
Well, you'll only have to wait a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see me in like you'll see me back in the next 2 weeks.
You'll see me in the next 3 weeks. So
there we go. Everybody's coming back.
You'll see me whenever Audrey smiles upon me.
We'll see you play soon, Tim. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Please apply for private minis if you want to
apply
play.
for all of them.
There's a lot of them casting.
All right.
There's a Pokemon mini casting.
Bye.
Oh my
I think
God,
I did apply for the Pokemon one.
Okay.
Period.
Yes.
I'm not saying I applied, but wink, wink, wink.
There is
Okay,
a
Robyn.
mini for everything you could possibly want to do. There is a mini assigned to it. So there we go. Thank you, Tim, for coming on. So that
Hi,
moved
Tim.
us to round 5, which was the evens and odds, but it was a strange evens and odds because it was a room evens and odds, and that you could
I
only
love
go. It made for a more straightforward vote, I would say, in the fact that because only certain people could really talk to certain people, and we actually have Jody here. Hello, Jody. Welcome.
Hey, friends.
It made for a more straightforward vote, I think, but it was an interesting twist on things. This one resulted in Natalie's elimination. There was some traction for JL here, but it was mostly Natalie.
I'm sorry, JL.
It's all good. It's all good. You know what? I wasn't moving enough. I wasn't moving.
I wasn't gonna vote for JL.
I love that. Thank you, Robyn.
Yeah, it was great that I was debating whether I should pick an even or odd number because I usually my favorite number is 6 because my birthday's on the 6th, so I always pick 6. But I was like, I'm gonna go with. I was like, I'm gonna go with 9 tonight, and that obviously helped a lot because it was, between the odds, we had 3 rooms where we could jump into, whereas the evens they only had 2 rooms, so that really helped. And I think Dina was the one who was pushing Natalie's name the most, so I was like, okay.
I was actually pushing Rachel.
She was pushing Rachel.
I'm so sorry.
Rachel is the new Clarissa.
Right.
I was so confused.
Like Lana and like there was a lot of names in my mind. No, I felt like I had thrown Natalie's name around before, and so it just. I know that I'm the kind of person where like once you throw out a name, it's really easy to be like, we're gonna go after her, and that's totally rightful. And so I was in a starting room with 3 people that I trusted. I think Lana was there. I don't remember who else. I'm sorry. Last night was kind of a blur. And like really quickly, we were like, okay, are we comfortable with Natalie? Okay, we're comfortable with Natalie. And I got locked pretty early. I was in the first room that got locked. Joey was in that room too. Yeah, we were, and I think Lana too. We were just staring at each other. But I think we'd gotten the name out to like enough people before that.
I was in there.
Yeah. So I didn't. The 4 of us were locked in there. So I didn't feel.
Oh, that wasn't that round.
Yeah, this is that evens and odds round.
Evens and odds, love.
Wasn't it musical chairs and then
no,
you
that was
not this one.
Love.
This is the next round.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, it was like I started moving, and then once I realized that Natalie wasn't in any of the 3 rooms, I felt really safe because then it was like we were just giving rooms between each other. Sorry, guys.
Meanwhile, I started in room 2, and I was like, let's vote out Natalie, and then Natalie literally jumped in the room, and I was like, so we're not voting Natalie? Great. And then we're sitting here in evens thinking, oh, 7 should be a good majority. Because I figured across the odds, like there's 1 more room. So I'm like, oh, of course, they're going to like split votes. No one's going to agree on a vote. We're chilling. And then the next round starts. We're like, so 7 was not enough. Great. Good to know.
So that moved us on after the Natalie elimination. It moved us to a new round, which was musical chairs room roulette, which went on for a while. And I feel like this actually impacted the game because it was such a straightforward vote. It seemed, I don't think another name was mentioned the entire time other than Michael, but it also lasted, I would say, a good 20 minutes. So it made every other round after that so quick. Essentially, Michael was frozen very early on and couldn't really do anything. And that combined with his internet made for, no chance for him to get an LOS there. Did anyone ever consider anything other than that, or was it basically just an easy elimination?
I voted JL.
Oh my God, Logan. Yeah, Logan had it out for me last night.
I did, but I adore you.
I was sitting there drinking my wine.
I adored JL so much. I was like, you're my Virgo sister.
I love that. I don't know. I was just vibing.
No, everything I said in the last round, just put it to this round and then add the name Michael.
Gotcha.
I went into a room with y'all again, and y'all was like, Michael. I was like, cool. Before we're glued, that's the name.
I didn't hear Michael before I was stuck. I was in the room with Michael, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, I said his name, and I was like, Michael, and then Audrey spun the wheel again.
Yeah, I was literally in room 3 by myself, and I jumped back to room 1, and I got glued. I was like, fuck, I should have just stayed in room 3. But then I was afraid of being in a room by myself.
So I have thought about this round a number of times in my head, because I didn't sleep very much last night. This is the round I wish I would have played very differently. This is the round where we should have taken a shot.
Jody,
I didn't know they were glued, but I should have been more proactive of figuring out who was still in the game, because this is when we could have done it.
That's the thing. I threw on this round just because I got glued in room 5. I think it was the third room we glued, so I didn't know whether I didn't see Michael, so I didn't know whether he was glued or whether he was still running around. So I was like, okay, maybe he has an LOS, so I'll just throw. I don't even remember who I threw it on, but I think that if I had known kind of where everybody was, and that's kind of on me for not moving around enough and seeing where everybody was in terms of that, that's when I think you really can kind of take a shot. But when Michael's name got brought up, I was like, look, we had 12 on him in the 6th round. It's definitely we had 12 on him, and
literally
I was just like, okay, you know what, let's and also I was kind of nervous because I know that I had been in the tie, so I was kind of afraid that in the back of my mind my name would be coming up in terms of an alternate or whatever. So I just threw, and I was like, okay, let's just go with Michael. I'm going to take my shot, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it 2 to 3 rounds from now, which I guess we'll get to, and I'll explain all of that later. But yeah.
Jody, who would you have taken a shot at in that round?
Dina. I rolled the round before. I said, "Is Dina running away from me?" Because when I saw that Dina and Robyn were in the game, I know they're both very loyal. So I'm like, I will ride with them if I can get to them, and I have to go after them if I can. And Robyn and I had connected, so I felt really good about Robyn. But Dina, I don't know. She every time we'd end up in a room, I'd be like, and then she'd go. So I'm like, hey, I'm not in, and whoever she's loyal to, she's loyal to. So it would have been Dina.
I definitely wouldn't have targeted you, Jody, but I was also very self-conscious of the fact that I do play a really loyal game, so I couldn't make too many promises because that's gonna fuck me over later. And I think that we just didn't end up in enough rooms early on together. But I would have loved to play with you because I think I've watched a lot of your games. Or I've definitely watched at least one of your games. I felt like maybe we'd play together, and I literally, I was like, have I played this game so much?
Yeah, it's we haven't, for the record.
I can't remember if I played with Jody or not.
No.
You
I know it's more the thing, Dina. I didn't feel like you were gonna come after me, honestly, but I just felt again, I'm like, if we don't do something pre-jury, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that was
absolutely correct.
Was the thing. So we just waited just a tattoo. And even again, when we'll get there, but I didn't feel like that was the right time. But this round could have been I was waiting for highest even votes or something like that. Again, not having played this round before, I just didn't think on my feet of it could be now. I just missed it.
See, my plan, and I think a couple people can echo this. My plan, honestly, was to take a shot at either Dina or Robyn at 11, with the potential of being dragged. But that's when I would have at least taken the shot. We all know I didn't make it there, but that's what I would have done.
Right.
And I thought too, we were running out of people to do it. Because I kept trying to keep in people that I thought, like, I didn't want Drew to go. I didn't want, like, I thought I was trying to keep Legend.
Legend, we know didn't want Drew to go.
Well, yeah, and I think...
So I was trying to keep the people that I thought would, like, be willing to do it, and they just kept going. I was like, I have no agency here at all.
And that's the other thing. Sorry, I felt like at some points in the game, so many of the people before these votes that I know that, like, it was said that I had influence, but, like, the Jessica vote coming up, like, there was a lot of votes when I never heard the names at all. And so that's why I was putting my allies even closer to my chest, because I was like, I felt like kind of like bitch stole my crown moment when Kaylee was like, something's going on.
Yeah, I remember Dina saying
happening. And so
he's like, what is up with these votes?
Something is not meshing.
I think, Dina, I think you and I talked about that at one point. We were like, I don't know what's going on in this game. And that's when I knew, like, I'm not lasting long here. Like, this is not.
I don't know if anybody did. Like, I feel like we were just, like, smattered all over everybody.
Literally.
Well, I think that was really crazy. It was really
except
hard.
for this Michael vote where we probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Well, everything. Yeah. The problem with this vote specifically was that, I felt I agree with Logan and Jody that, pre-jury you have to take a shot, but I felt like at this vote in particular, and generally my philosophy is that any vote where there's an obvious boot or there are only 2 names and you need like 9 out of the 16, you're not going to be able to take a shot on one of the big names with 9 out of 16. It needs to be a round where you can get them out with like 4 or 5 or something like that. Put some strays on them, whatever. And so, like, even though in retrospect this would have been a round to maybe I should have adjusted the strategy a little bit on that, I also felt like I'm going to need 9 votes to go after Dina or Robyn here. There's no chance in hell I'm going to get 9 votes in this round, especially with like the glued stuff. And so, I was waiting for like Jody said, a highest even or a second highest or something like that, where like 3-4 votes is enough to send them home. And that's why kind of, later on, again, we'll get to that, but that's why like I picked that round in particular to go after them. And so, Michael was just kind of the path of least resistance, I think, for everybody. There was just so much traction on his name that everybody was kind of like, all right, well.
It was a hard round because it was very prohibitive.
I didn't vote out Michael. I voted out Murphy.
Yeah.
I voted out Murphy was on my target list. So I vote out people that's on my target list. Fuck what they saying. If they not on my target list, I'm not voting out. So I voted out Murphy because I feel like Murphy's the type of player who's going to sneak by and who's sneaky and who can weave her way in and through. I love her.
And Legend, that's a really good idea. I think I voted Michael once before this round, and my thing was like, well, for like people that I voted already, I was like, I'm gonna re-vote for them again until they go, because when history repeats comes up, I want there to be more names I could vote for and not just be like certain people that I'm working with. So I did. I didn't know
about history repeat. This is my first time playing Sequester.
Yeah,
I don't know about none of that.
I was planning for like future rounds.
Play differently, but like I didn't know about.
And that's why I re-voted Susie as well. Just because I didn't want to vote Jennifer, but I already had voted Susie. So I'm like, okay, if I vote Susie and she leaves, then history can't repeat. Then she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was hard, I feel like, in that round because people were locked away so quickly, and that to make a power move, you would really have to get like 6 allies and have that be enough, and just randomly happen to have those people be the last 6 that are unstuck because there was so many people.
You'd have to have like 2 or 3 people glued in each room in order to like get like a good majority.
Exactly.
And when I was glued, we had 5, so I was like, oh god, I don't know how these votes are gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. So that moved us to round 7, which was history can't repeat plus Kevin Falk's impersonator, which I don't know how many submissions. I saw some of them on Twitter, but apparently the best Kevin Falk impersonator is Kevin Falk. I don't know what the rules
My
are.
favorite is Lana just being like, who's Kevin Falk?
I would like to say,
I love that.
I mean, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna go with it. I like the song.
So adorable.
I do love the idea of people playing Sequester for the first time and just being utterly confused by a man coming in screaming the words to Smash Mouth.
I love that.
I messaged Audrey on Skype. I was like, "What in the Smash Mouth is going on?"
I would like to just publicly say I 100% blame Kevin Falk for my elimination. Twitter already knows that, but I love you, Kevin. You know that.
Well, Logan, the thing that was happening was that when you got eliminated, there were only two names I heard, and it was you and Javier. And I had a final two with Javier, so I was like,
it was you. I was hearing
that.
Logan, I was hearing Javier, and I was throwing out Jesse. Because I'm like, I'm working with Logan. I'm working with Javier. Like,
no,
Logan
because I went to Jesse's room, and because I was in a room before, and I said we're voting Logan because I played a game with Logan before, and I know the type of player Logan is, and I know that he likes to get out big.
Bitch, that was years ago.
But I know you're still the same person. Anyway, like I said, he likes to take big shots, and I know that I will be a big shot later on. So he needs to
100%. I would have taken a shot.
Logan can go, and then I went in a room with Jesse, and Jesse go say no to Logan. He said, "I want Javier." I said, "Well, Logan go this round, and Jesse go later because you want to go after Javier. I'm coming after you, Jesse too." So Jesse was a no in my head, but Logan won that round.
Legend, you're 100% right. I would have taken a shot at you later. So good on you. Good on you. Like I know that. I
know you. Yeah. I know you.
You do.
So I voted.
You know me.
Yeah, well, I did not vote you that round, Logan. I voted Jesse.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't vote you. Why would I vote you?
No, I was told you voted me. So I was like, I was confused all last night after my elimination. I'll be honest, Robyn, I was a little bitter.
I did not vote for you. I voted Jesse. You know I was not going to vote you out, Logan. I literally told you I want you to go to jury.
I know, and that's why I was like...
that when I say that to people.
No, and I appreciate that. And that's why I was confused. I was like, because a friend of mine texted me outside of the community who was watching. She was like, I think Robyn flipped on you last minute or something like that. And I was like, that seems weird coming from Robyn because I know the relationship I have with you. But
yeah, no, I did not vote for you.
Just because Jesse was like my person in this
game. That's valid.
For you, I felt like that was my best shot. This was.
But what about starting room strong, Lana?
I lost Michael, so I was like, well, I guess it doesn't matter if Logan goes now.
Wow. Okay.
I can say this is the round that I mentioned later in final two when I said. Joey came up to me, or Joey and I were in a room, and Joey said, well, Dina wants it to be Javier, so just saying.
And he didn't go out.
So I didn't go Javier because I was like, I'm not doing what Dina wants.
By the way, sorry, Javier, I voted for you.
I voted for Javier because as this group has clearly delineated, Javier did an excellent job of making a lot of people feel like he was in the final with them, and I wasn't one of those people. I kept trying to vote him out, and he kept not going out until I weeded out enough people that were in his top alliances who weren't giving their allegiances to me to be able to get him out in jury. No tea, no shade. Like, love you, Javier, but like, also, where was my F2 deal? You know,
honestly.
Well, no, we have a final too, but we were gonna go far for sure.
I also gave me a final deal. I just felt like I don't know. I just felt like my POCs. I just always protect them no matter what.
Yeah. I also want to make this abundantly clear to like everybody. This is my second game. Like, I've heard that, like, people have thought that I've played more just because, like, I'm always on Twitter. I literally have only played one other game, and I got fourth boot. So, like, I'm basically still, like, now I'm not really, like, a newbie. But I was, like, a newbie coming into the game. I think one of my big downfalls was I tried to ride the line between the vets and the newbies. As soon as I knew who the names were, I was like, I feel good with all of these people, except for Drew, because I literally have never spoken to him in my life. But, like, I felt good with Susie, I felt good with Dina, I felt good with Robyn, and I felt good with Mallory. And so I was like, I can ride that, but also, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I've never played. And I should have just stuck to one or the other, and I didn't. And that's what did me in.
I will say I voted for you, Logan, and it was the easiest thing I did all night.
I love you, Jaya.
I love you.
And with
That's
that,
how you clear a bitch. That's how you clear a bitch. Period.
No,
Period.
Valid. I mean, I would have won if I made final 2, so.
I don't think so. I don't think
All right.
All of the pre-jury boots think so. But,
That's what
Oh yeah, always.
Oh, period.
I will say that's what I was going to say, Logan, and I said it on commentary last night. I was really impressed how well it's hard for a new player, and I consider you a new player. You've never played anything other than a private mini, and you were an early player. For a new player to
for being a newbie,
to a patron mini and be that well insulated is that when people saw you, people were like vets were so excited to see you play and wanting to work with you that I really did think that you were in such a good position just from like your Twitter basically and the positivity
you,
spread on Twitter that I thought was really impressive. That I thought you were in it at least till jury. So I was.
Me too.
I was
Same.
And that seems to be the consensus. Like, and I'll bring it back to
with your name to me. I was like, really? Y'all doing Logan?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing Jesse, so y'all can do it.
Everyone, as soon as I turned my phone back on, everyone was like, I'm so confused how you went out. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was pushing Jesse. I should have pushed Javier, but I got stuck with Kevin Falk twice. I got stuck with him at the beginning of the round, and then halfway through, I popped in with Dina and Mallory, and I was like, I need to talk to these women. Please, Kevin Falk, get the F out of my room, Kevin Falk. Like, I need to talk. And as soon as I
into our room first, and I was just like, Kevin, get the fuck out of here.
As soon as he got out, I was like, Dina, Mallory, help. And they're like, go. And I was like, oh my God, okay, bye. And then that's all she wrote. But yes, I blame Kevin Falk for my elimination. So
I blame Kevin Falk for
a lot of
things in my life.
Oh my God,
Logan, it was great to see you. What are your plans moving forward? I'm sure you're going to be playing again.
So I cannot say what games. I have 4 privates coming up before the end of October. So, like,
nice.
I will say all of those were cast when I was like either before I played Draft Sequester or right after I played Draft Sequester. So like, they all got cast at like the same time. So I was like, I guess I'm playing all of these games now. Great. But yeah, y'all will see me. I'll be around. Y'all will see me on Twitter. I will say, my crowning achievement from the night was during the round before I went out. After the first musical chair roulette wheel whatever of doom whatever. I was alone in the room with Jalen and Jatia modding and made a final 3 with them. So I will say that is my crowning achievement of the night. That is like the one thing I wanted to do. So yeah, I was bitter at first, but I feel really good about the game I played. I wanted to come into this game and play just completely different than I played in my first game, which didn't last very long. But I'm happy to be with this cast. Y'all are amazing. Robyn, you know I have so much love for you, and I'm so happy you guys are.
Love you so much, Logan. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Logan.
Bye.
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 All right, so that moved us to round 8, which was the reintroduction of the bomb round, which we haven't seen in quite a while.
Oh my gosh, that bomb round.
Yeah, since like February weekend.
I can't wait to hear about it. Truly, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm really upset we didn't get to stare at each other. Because I was ready for a staring contest. I'm really good at finding a bomb in a staring contest. But like, put me in a room with just Robyn. She wasn't giving me anything, and I was really upset. But that's just.
Well, in our room at least, the 7 of us. The first thing we did was like we actually decided on a leader before we decided where we were going to hide the bomb. We kind of agreed pretty quickly that it was going to be Robyn, but I mean the condition was that if the leader loses, they're not going to be like a target. And so that was kind of the first thing. And then
I was still afraid because I was like, if I fuck this up, I could be the one.
Right.
Robyn,
but I
you weren't going to be the one.
It wasn't going to be you.
You know, I never know who's gonna flip, who's gonna.
Yeah, when I suggested that.
But the other thing is that
I was worried I might still be the leader, so I was like, whoever goes up, not a target, just in case.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, we couldn't even like talk or communicate anyway while you were doing like facing off against Dina. So even if theoretically we had wanted to do it, there wouldn't have been a chance because you got back in the room before anybody could start like talking.
Mm-hmm.
But what ended up happening there, I mean, so my first game was Christmas in July. And so obviously Alex Brizard and I are tight. And so I just remember from Winners at War when he like on his first guessed who the bomb had and then misunderstood that wasn't what you were trying to do. Like he didn't know that you were trying to avoid the bomb. He thought you were trying to find the bomb and he was like so happy. And so I actually like kind of kept that in my mind as to like, you know, what would he do? And then I guess kind of the opposite of that because, you know, he got it wrong that time. But so I think that, and then what ended up happening once we finally decided, hey Murphy, what we ended up doing finally was that the mod was like, okay, we just need, who are you guys picking for the bomb? And then Joey, who was the first person to vote, was like, me. And then I was the next person to vote, and I was like, okay, well, I guess Joey said he would take the bomb. I'll just put it on Joey also. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Because I thought we had said that Robyn was going to be the leader and the bomb.
That's what I thought too, and I was so confused. Joey was like, I'm voting for myself. The LQ said, I'm voting for myself. I said, did we fucking change it? I said, I'm voting for Joey.
I guess I missed that. I didn't think that Robyn could also have the bomb.
Yeah, I could have.
Okay, I voted for myself partially because I was like, I think I'm a medium. Like I feel like I'm like not the most obvious. And I was also like, if anyone disagrees, they'll just vote the right way. Doesn't matter. But everyone just piled on. So
my thought.
I'm just like,
Sorry,
no wonder
thought...
Dina couldn't figure it out because like we didn't really even think about it. Joey was just like, I'll take it, and we're all like, okay.
So my thought was that, and I didn't know who they would send, but I know that there's like a lot of misunderstanding with the directions for this round, and it's like easy to get confused. So my thought was that we brought up maybe Robyn should be the leader and the bomb, but then I realized maybe the other person from the other room doesn't realize that the leader can also have the bomb, so they might guess everybody else except for the leader. And so I figured that, which wasn't even the case eventually, but I figured that whoever we sent as the leader was most likely going to be the last guess. And so I did not want that person to have the bomb because the chances are we would accidentally blow up the bomb before they got to the leader. And so when Joey said, I'll take it, I was like, okay, well, that's not the leader, so we'll just give it to him. And then I guess like after I did it, everybody just got on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked the slight twist on it that you had two leaders rather than having someone do it in the room. I feel like it also obviously brings up the issue of, are you held responsible if you lose it, right? Like there's always the worry there. But I do think it was easier to follow, I think, moving two people out and having them go step by step. After the bomb was detonated, it ended up being Javier, Jessica, Jennifer, Jesse, Dina, Mallory, and Murphy nominated for elimination and resulted in the Jessica boot. So how did we get there in terms of the actual elimination? It seemed like it was mostly Jessica and Javier being mentioned for the most part.
Yeah, everyone was throwing out Javier, then everyone started throwing out Jessica.
Yeah.
I was just like, I want Jessica to go because I don't want Javier to go. So
I was pushing Jesse again, surprise, but for history cannot repeat, that would have been really good for me. So that's why I was like, I'm going to continue to vote for Jesse until he goes.
And somebody brought up Jesse in the room that I was in, and like Lana, Jesse was like my guy, and so I deflected to Jessica, and then that's I think where some of the Jessica traction got started, was in that room. Everybody kind of agreeing to do her.
I was in a room with Jody, and I had actually wanted to do Jennifer, and we had started talking about doing a Jennifer vote that round, but then like a couple of people left and Jennifer came into the room, and Jody and I like got into kind of a standoff where I was like, I'm scared to leave because I feel like Jody is going to be like, Lana was just throwing your name out, blah, 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 blah. And that would have been bad for the next round. So Jennifer did not pick up any traction at all. So I was like, fuck, I need to like stay in this room and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, from my perspective. Go, Joey.
Go ahead. No, please.
I just didn't want to. I heard Javier and I heard Jesse, but and Javier would kind of call this out in like the next couple of rounds. But I was like, there's so many guys that are leaving, And so I did not want to do Javier and I did not want to do Jesse because I was just a little scared of that. And obviously, like, that shouldn't be the basis of it, but that was like definitely at the back of my mind. And so when Jessica's name got brought up, that was when I was like, okay, I guess it's Jessica. And, you know.
Yeah, same. Between Jessica and Javier, at this point I was in the mode of like, I want to keep Javier because his name's been out there and it's going to continue to be out there. And I felt pretty secure here, so I was like, let's just keep someone who's going to keep being a target.
Yeah.
So moving into round 9, this was, if you vote for the person eliminated, you are up the next round. This resulted in yet another tie between JL, Joey, Jesse, and Murphy. And Big Hat Joey himself ended up going home. Now, from what I've heard, and from what I heard, it was basically you in the chat, you voted for yourself, correct?
Yes, a fatal mistake. So yes, I got a little cute here, and I felt pretty secure, right? So I was like, I felt confident that we'd get at least 3 votes on somebody. So I felt like even if, like, I didn't really think anybody was going to throw a vote my way, so I felt confident. I really didn't want to be up for a flop the next round because I felt like there was like a solid chance that if I was up with one other person, I would go. And so I just tried the classic self-vote here. And someone else dumped on me. I didn't expect a 4-way tie. Each person gets, I assume, 2 votes, which was pretty wild. And then I think on the revote, yeah, my name just got rolling, which hats off to JL. I think she did that one. I think she sniped me.
Yeah, I sure did. I came into this game and I saw some returning players, and I watch this stuff all the time. Me and my friends watch it. We pick a player, and every round their name goes out and they're safe. We drink. So my friends were playing that last night, so y'all got them pretty drunk. But I'm friends with Sharifa, so I had like a little Sharifa pep talk before this, and she has a formula. Her formula is, and she's gonna hate me, she gets bigger players to work with her, so there's always gonna be someone ahead of her. And in a cast like this where I knew there was a lot of people who were kind of scared of people like Dina and Robyn, Mallory, and I was like straight up, I'm like, listen, I know people might want to target you, but that's not my ammo. And I think that's what saved me for a little bit, because they were like, look at this little newbie girl. Let me put her in my pocket for later and snipe her at 6.
You did.
But I that's kind of what I wanted to do, because I knew they were hustlers. Oh my god, my dog. I knew they were hustlers, and I knew they would hustle for me. So that's my strat there. That was my strat. Sorry, Joey.
Yeah, JR, it was one of my favorite moments when you essentially, like, it was Dina in the room and you gave the speech about how you wanted to work with her and how you weren't about taking out veterans and you were so excited to be playing a game with her. She left, Robyn came in, and you gave the exact same speech that you had just given to Dina, word for word, and they both ate it up. They loved it so much. They loved hearing.
They're both icons. They're both icons. They're both worthy.
Well, she was genuine. It wasn't. She wasn't saying that and turning around and like fucking us over. Like she was genuine, and she played a great game. And she was always someone that like I came to for a reality check. And so even when her name was out a lot, I personally wasn't going to let that happen. Like,
I will say, JL told me we were one-on-one in a room, and she said, I don't want to do returning players. And I didn't know whether that meant I don't want to work with returning players or I don't want to vote out returning players. I was like really confused. And so, at that point, I had no idea what the
I was really afraid. I was so afraid because I saw the cast, and then I was doing this thing where I'm like, hey guys, this room, and people were ignoring me, and I was like, well, shit. And I'm like, I felt like I didn't have anything tangible. I kind of used like a relationship that I have with Dina through a friend. I was like, okay, that's one thing. I'm like, what can I use for everyone else? Everyone else seems so close. I walked in a room like Murphy and I forgot his name already. Logan were like bonding over Murphy. I was like, oh no, like there was like so much shit going around. I was like, it's like throwing jelly at a wall. I was just like, please stick, and it did. So.
Yeah. And so this is also the round where Jody and Murphy and Javier and I actually decided that we were going to try as much as possible to go after Dina and Robyn. So what ended up happening there, in retrospect, I should have started it the round earlier when Dina was up, but you miss your window and whatever. But so I knew that we would need 3 rounds to get out the 2 of them, because I knew that the audience LOS was a thing, and so I had figured that Dina or Robyn would probably benefit from the audience LOS. And so I was like, okay, I need to flush this audience LOS this round, and then try as much as possible to go after Dina and or Robyn again in the next round. And so we were in the room. I said, hey guys, I think we should start taking out, or we might have to start going after the big guns. And then Javier, of course, asked, who are the big guns? And I didn't want to say the name. And so I knew that if somebody stumbled into the room, I wasn't going to be the one who would be caught saying the name. And so Jody says, Dina or Robyn, and then at some point there, Legend is the one who comes in and hears Jody being like, Dina. And so I was like,
Dina. Okay, let me just say, I like Jody. I was following Jody all around.
I know. I was like, Legend, because I knew you did it. And I was like, I thought we were good.
No, Jody,
I didn't even try. It was like, seriously, I was answering a question. I wasn't even
me and you were good. Like, me and you were good, but me and Dina and Robyn were better. And I was like, I said, she calling out Dina. I said, Dina, I went straight to go find Dina. I said, Dina.
I just wanted Javier and Murphy to know they were the big guns. I didn't say
Dina said, Legend, who said my name? I said, Jody. She said, Joey. I said, no, Jody. She said,
Joey.
Jody.
Gotta go find Jody.
I said, Jody.
I walked in on that fight and it was super awkward. Like everybody got quiet, and I was like, "Hey, what are we talking about here?"
It was thrilling.
I was in a room with Dina, and Dina's like, "That Jody," and she's like, "I gotta go find her," and I was like,
I know. I was feeling good with JL too, but then that turned her against me, and I was like, I didn't answer the question.
The funniest moment was when I was in a room with Jody, and then Dina came in, and I'm sitting in the middle, and they arguing about the shit that I said, and I'm sitting there like.
Well, that's the thing, because your look, like Dina bounced out, and I was like, Legend, I honestly didn't. I'm like, I know you told her, and I know it bounced in, and it looked like that's what I was doing, but it wasn't. That's not what, but I was glued.
The glue.
Anyway, that's a few rounds.
That round was messy, but it was like one of the best nights, like one of the best rounds of the night, because I love it.
I definitely do think it was a
so
highlight.
Dina came in, she said, "You called out my motherfucking name." I said, "Oh, period." She coming with the energy.
Here we go.
I was like, I didn't.
So Joey, what were your thoughts? I didn't see you going there, but obviously once the tie hit,
I didn't see that either.
How did it feel to play? This is your second time, right?
This is my second time, yeah. So I just first I want to give a shout out to JL, who the round before actually told me I haven't heard your name all game, and is actually the reason why I felt safe voting for myself. And then she sniped me when I was up in the tie. So like mega shout outs. She got me.
Yes.
Like props to you, truly. Yeah, I played once before. I played about a month ago in the 8-7 mini. I went out in the third round after I saved myself with an LOS in the second round. So I didn't get to get my roots down. This was an absolute pleasure to play with all of you guys and really feel like I got a full experience. So yeah, this was a blast, truly.
We hope to see the return of the hats.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
That's your new thing.
Thanks, Joey.
See you, Joey.
You guys enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, so let's go a little bit out of order because Dina needs to go win a mini. So
No. Dina needs to go co-host a mini where she's gonna be everybody's favorite aunt, and they will get her out pre-jury. For the love of fucking God, it will be so awkward. I did the twist for this mini. This is a public plea. Please don't make me have an awkward jury. Please just get me out. There are so many incredible new players playing tonight.
There are.
There's going to be Middle Eastern music. We're going to have Middle Eastern trivia. I haven't even looked at the answers so that I won't be safe that round. I'm so excited. Shireen is playing, who's just the most incredible person ever. Bad Khaled is going to be there. Let's get him out. Good Khaled is going to be there. Let's make sure he gets really far. So I'm super excited. To be very honest, and if this is kind of my mea culpa before I leave, in my life, I've never been a good loser. And it stopped me from not doing a lot of things. because if there wasn't an almost instant success rate, there was such a deep shame with the concept of loss that I wasn't on sports teams. I wasn't necessarily, even though I would be a part of teams, I was always kind of everybody's cheerleader, and I wasn't always competing, even though I'm an extremely competitive person, because I feel like ultimately a lot of the stakes were that I felt like I was set up to lose. And Sequester is the first place where not only do I feel set up to win on an even playing field with everyone around me, but I also feel like it's created an incredible space for me to learn how to lose and to learn what it is to have fun and to create relationships and to understand what your boundaries are and to understand how you can learn something from each experience. Like when I was little, I would watch NBA finals and I would sob hysterically for the guys who like lost. And my dad would be like, literally, like, they're rich. Like, what's your problem? Like, fine. And I'm just like, but daddy, like, we watched that. Like, my dad's a Knicks fan. There was a lot of crying involved, right?
Of
so
course.
like,
Makes
so
sense.
for me, it made me stay away from competition for so long, even though I was succeeding professionally or all of those things. And I felt like there were little holes that I can fit in, and there was just vast spaces that just didn't allow me to. And so, you know, I'll be honest, I'm really good at Sequester. Like, my brain works well with Sequester. I negotiate with people every single day of my life, personally and professionally. I read people every day of my life, personally and professionally. And like at work, I'm discredited every single day for my very astute and very credible observations. And so I'm not saying that I'm always going to be good at Sequester, but like this game particularly for me was like a huge opportunity for me to play with new people, to make strong alliances early, to have a flexible game, to win like comps that I didn't know I could win, to get a green dot LOS for the first time ever, and to really like compete against Robyn at such a high level and to get her to her win, right? Like, she's an incredible winner. She's worked so hard. She worked so hard in that fucking game.
Thank you so much.
Like nothing changes that. Like, a winner is a fucking winner. And I am so proud of all of us. I am so proud of us being a cohesive cast. I am so proud of Jennifer and Robyn and everything that they've been through. I'm proud of Jennifer for playing again and for putting herself on that stage, for looking incredible and for playing a really tough game and for creating those types of relationships in the game that I feel like I felt so connected to her, you know? And I'm always going to be a resource available to any of you guys, like throughout this cast or throughout the community, for like questions about the game or like twists or whatever. Like, everyone's upset about vets. I created a mini so that an entire cast of 20 people can play that they've never played before. Like, we recognize this shit. And if you have a problem with it, do something about it, because I did. And I made other people's Sequester experience better because I was creative and I tried to make it better. And that's what we're doing with the pre-jurors. And that's what we want to keep doing with the Mentors Mini. And sometimes we're going to fail and sometimes we're going to succeed, but at least we're fucking trying. And I'm never going to be in a position again where I'm going to be afraid of losing or afraid of making a mistake or afraid of being ashamed or afraid of not taking accountability. And I just adore all of you. And like, I feel so honored and privileged that you guys let me play with you and that you let me have this experience with you. And, you know, I'm starstruck by all of you. And I know that there's going to be future games when you're going to have to like deal with the dynamic of being in a game with someone and be like, oh my God, you know me? Like, that's so weird. But I love you all. And I hope that like we can continue championing each other. And like, I think Sequester tells us a lot about who we are in the real world. And Sequester has changed my life dramatically in the last 6 months for a variety of reasons. And coming into this community and everything that's happened, I'm a stronger, better person. And if you don't feel like Sequester is doing that for you, then either try to transition it into a different type of experience for you, or it might not be the right place for you. Because if it's consistently creating anxiety or toxicity in your life, there are other ways that we can all communicate and be a part of the community. We have Zoom games that are going on. We have different platforms so that you can really flourish and like get the best out of what you want. But frankly, like, I'm not going to accept like any toxicity. I've had my fucking fair share of it, personally and privately, and I'm just making a public stance to say like no fucking more. And if anybody wants to play with me, I'm super happy to play with you guys. If anybody does, and this isn't for this group, this is for like all of Sequester. If someone doesn't want to play a game with me, Audrey lets you opt the fuck out. Like, that's cool. You don't have to play with me. I have people I don't want to play with. So I hope we can all play together again. I have a better track record when casts play with me twice. So I'll always make that joke until I can convince a cast to play with me again. And I just love you all so much. I can't believe I have to go log in to play in 3 minutes. What the fuck am I doing? It's going to be so much fun. I adore you. Congratulations, Robyn. Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was such an honor to sit with you in the final two. I was super scared. I was like, Dina knows how to talk. I can't articulate. And especially when I feel like pressured, I get nervous and like, yeah, my brain just goes blank. So.
I did not want to sit in the final two with Dina.
Yeah, I was afraid.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro. No, I love you guys so much. I will sit at a final two with any of you.
I mean, we would have went toe to toe like we did last time, but I didn't want to.
But thank you all so much. I appreciate you so much. And like inside and outside of Sequester, like I've helped people with their resumes. Like I help people with like therapy conversations. Like I'm here for you. Like I want us to do better. And the social skills that make me good at this game are also the social skills that help me navigate real life situations to make things better for people around us. So if you have trouble with that, like, let's make the world better instead of being upset that other people know how to do things.
She treats her friends like royalty.
I do. And Louie knows that. I treat Louie like royalty all the time. Okay, thank you guys all so much. I literally have to go. Bye everyone.
Bye, Dina. Love you.
Good
Love you. Bye.
Okay, so that brought us to the last round before jury. Actually, no, we skipped a round. The first was the later round. JL, Jennifer, Lana, Jesse, and Murphy were nominated, and this is the round that ended in Jesse's elimination. And this was the one that we kind of already touched on in the fact that Dina got Jody in a room and kind of confronted her on what was going on there. And then we moved to round 11, and this is when the one and only Susie F. Garcia used her power to use the glue to
I did not
split
know
up.
she had the glue.
She had
It was
the
her,
glue to split up the. She was texting me the whole time while we were on commentary, being like, "What should I do with this glue?" And I was, I have no idea. I can't even begin to think what you should do with it. But she split up Mallory, Jody, Javier, LQ, and Murphy in separate rooms. Essentially, the group that was targeting Dina. What made this fun was the fact that Dina could now go from room to room and basically confront whoever she wanted because they were all separated and stuck there to listen. And this basically resulted in the elimination of both people who were coming for her, mostly LQ, but also Jody. And Jody, I felt like the drag was pretty obvious once you were out, just because LQ was kind of the cause of you being eliminated. But how did we get to your elimination, and then how did we get to the drag?
Yeah, again, that glue was hard. And again, like, so Dina comes and yells at me, and then everybody's like,
in
about
there.
that.
I had to leave. I was like,
So
awkward.
so now everybody's getting out of my room, so I can't push a name, and I'm like, and now I'm getting yelled at. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm here again. I pushed her to LQ. I knew that's where she'd go next, so I'm like, hopefully. So I voted for LQ too, and again, which was sad for me. I liked him, and again, like even during that, I wasn't trying to target Dina, but I was trying to say, I know who they are. I'll be on your side when we're ready to do it. Like I was trying to give that energy. So in that way, like Dina's right. I was trying to give that energy out. So when I was like, I didn't target you, I didn't vote for you, that was true. But she was right in the sense that I was going to be one of the people that was going to be willing to in the next few rounds, if not that round. But again, when you're glued and you can't, like, I was like, we can't coordinate. So, and I know the audience glued us for a reason. I know everybody's thinking too, why are these people glued together? I'm like,
I did
oh
not.
man.
I was so confused about the people being glued. I was like, why is that? But now I know.
Yeah. One brief conversation where Dina's name was mentioned.
So brief, and honestly, I just felt like it was like wrong room, wrong time, because I was just kind of nodding along. I didn't know shit, like, and then I got glued, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, Murphy's like, I don't know why we got glued, and I was like, I know why we got glued. Like,
I didn't even pay attention to who was glued. I didn't even know why y'all got glued. I was like, oh, they glued.
Yeah, I just know I think Mallory was glued, so I was like, I'm not voting Mallory and I'm not voting Jody. So I made sure I told them that I wasn't voting them.
Yeah, like I just
I
was
actually
like,
threw
I
my
don't
vote
know
on
how to
Murphy
push a
that
name.
round.
Because what do you like? I'm like, I sent her to LQ. I'll vote for LQ. I don't really know what else to do. And even too, when that room of 4 happened, I knew that because again, like Murphy and I had hardly seen each other in the game. But so again, like even when we were talking, I was like, well, I think Murphy's new. I feel good about Javier. So these are people that we can like start this conversation with. And I knew when Legend popped in, I was like, oh, fuck. Because again, like I liked Legend, but I knew he was like not
for sure.
So I was just like, oh no. Like I was just like hopefully I survive, but I don't know what to do.
I was more Legend, Robyn, Dina side of things at that time. So for me, it was just like figure out what's the majority. I knew I was going to survive the drag because it was like, okay, she's obviously dragging LQ. I was like, I need that safety in the next round. So that was, sorry, Jody, it was an easy one.
No, it's...
Yeah, so I mean, for this round specifically, so I kind of do want to take it back a little bit to the 13 round when we actually did throw out Dina's name. So I had seen, majority flop is always hard because it either works one of two ways. Either you get like 7 or 8 people kind of just decide like, okay, we're all going to do one name and we're all going to go on the block. And there's safety in numbers in that sense because it's like, okay, there's 8 people to choose from. It's kind of a crapshoot. Or it becomes like a throw round where there's like 3, 4, 5 people who are on the block. And, I had seen on Friday, when I think Brady was the one who went home, shout out Brady, but like, I think when she went home, it was like, it was also like a two vote thing. So I was like, okay, going into this round, I'm expecting that it is going to be kind of a throw round. And also because of musical chairs, it was super quick. So even though we did have like a sort of tentative, let's try to go for Dina, we never had any time to go in rooms and like actually try to spread that name. And so I ended up throwing my vote. I think I voted Murphy that round. So just because I didn't want to do Dina in case I had to take another shot during History Can't Repeat. And so when we got to 11, and then, I had no idea that Jody, that Dina had confronted Jody. I just remember, Murphy and I were glued together. Lana and Jennifer came in, and then they were like, okay, what do you want us to do? And we kind of just like, do you just want to do Jody? And it's actually kind of completely independent of the whole Dina fiasco because I didn't even know that had been like found out at the time. Mm-hmm. We just kind of picked Jody because it was like, okay. And Murphy said like, you guys weren't in rooms like that much together either.
We weren't, yeah.
And so when Dina came to room 4, and she said, hey, why the fuck I've heard you've been fucking throwing my name, which I think that's verbatim. The things that I knew were, one, I do need to own up to this because there was no way by that time I realized that I had been sold out by somebody. And so I was like, okay, the only course of action I have is to just be like, yeah, I wanted to do the audience LOS thing. I needed to flush it. I was worried. And so that's kind of what I told her. But the second thing, as soon as she said that, I said, I'm going to go home at 11. I didn't even think about the drag. I thought I was going home at 11 because I was like, okay, that means Jody voting for me. That means Dina's voting for me. Legend is probably voting for me. Like, so, and what ended up happening there was that I wanted to throw my vote I did not want to vote for Jody because I knew that the drag was going to be a possibility. But because Dina freaked me out so much, I thought that 11 was going to be me or Jody, and so I had to vote for her in order to save myself that round. And I got dragged. So, but I don't have any hard feelings towards either Jody or Dina. Dina just completely outplayed me. And I already talked about this with Susie on Twitter as well. Like the game, it is what it is, and that's kind of how it played out.
Yeah, I am. Dina was gonna drag you. Sorry, you thought Dina would have dragged you.
I thought so. I actually thought I thought that Dina would have dragged me, but I also thought that they were just going to vote me out in this round, and I would be dragging. I was already mentally preparing, like, okay, who am I going to drag? Who am I going to drag? And then I got dragged. So
I would have voted Dina with you guys if you had.
I thought for sure Dina was going to drag me based on the confrontation we had. So that's why I was like, I can't. Not this round. Like maybe we can repair it. But again, too, I was glued there. So she came in and yelled at me. I sent her to LQ, and then we didn't connect again. So I'm like, well, I'm not voting for Dina after that.
I threw off on Murphy because I'm like, no one's saying Murphy.
Yeah, I didn't really hear a name when the round ended, so I was really nervous. And I, of course, wanted to throw my vote because I didn't know who was going to go and who they were going to drag. So I was like, Murphy's not a name I haven't really heard out there, so I'm just gonna throw my vote.
And I'll say to you too, LQ, when we initially did talk about Dina, like I didn't want to do it on that flop round just because I didn't want Robyn to think, oh, Jody's coming after the big targets, because I felt good with Robyn. But if I could have gotten Dina out, that like I wanted to be able to do it, but not have Robyn know that I did that. Because I wanted Dina, I didn't want Robyn. So it was like really tricky because I didn't want all of a sudden I'm a flop up there and Robyn's being like, well, what the hell is she doing?
Yeah.
Right.
So again, I just don't know when the right time to take that shot was, but apparently who knows?
We missed
it. And then too, the drag is always so hard because I'm like, I want to drag somebody who voted for me, even though I'm like, I know, again, Dina's yelling at me. I know Legend sold me out. I know, right? But I'm just like, but again, smart enough not to vote for me. So I don't know. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, especially because there was, just a limited amount of people who voted for you. Even after all that, it seems like votes were pretty split and thrown.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jody, game overall, how did you enjoy playing?
Yeah, it's always fun. This one was fun. Like, again, I didn't have a hot clue what was going on for the majority of it, but that was almost more fun in a way. So I don't know. It's always a good time.
And LQ, that's the wrong one. Where's LQ? There
we go.
LQ, what about you?
Yeah, just want to address the whole vets thing because Jody and I are both relatively, we've played before, but we're not as recognizable as your
Jody went to the final 2 once. Let's not forget.
Yeah, but nobody watched that mini round.
It was in the daytime on a weekday.
I watched.
It was Wednesday afternoon. Nobody saw it. I did hand DK his win, but that we don't need to dwell. But anyway, LQ, you go.
Yeah, Jody and I talked about this last night actually. After the game, we kind of came to the conclusion that 14 to 11 is kind of the ideal time to go after kind of big names, because I think that in the first couple of rounds, everybody's so oh my god, I'm so excited to be playing with Dina and Robyn and et cetera. And so. And if people haven't been in rooms with them yet, I know that everybody's like, I don't want to vote them out. I haven't even met them. I really want to get the chance to meet them. But me personally, I knew that Dina and Robyn could out-talk me at 6, 5, 4. I was not going to get to the end at all against any of them. And then maybe you have a shot at 7, maybe you have a shot at 9, and 8 is safety chain. So I figured that you really had to do a limited window of 14 to 11. And then when we got glued, that was kind of the end of it. But overall, kind of my thoughts on the game. This was super fun. I got the first I've ever gotten in the game in the 3 times that I played. So this was obviously a really, really cool experience. I always the 6-word motto that people throw about, mine is always try, fail, try again, fail better. And I think that that's definitely something that I lived up to here. And hopefully next time I'll feel even better. And so yeah.
And I had your back, LQ. I did have your back. To hear that you were pushing my name, I was like, what? It shook me. That was the gag of the season for real.
Also, your intro video was fucking everything. That intro video.
So good.
Yeah. If I ever win, I'll release the full 16-minute version.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Up2, for coming on.
Sorry, one more thing. I am organizing the Taylor Swift Mini on October 18th, or as we are affectionately calling it, Sequester. So please tune into that, and all right,
amazing.
thanks everybody.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. We will do.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, so that moves us to the first round of jury. Lana and JL, you were safe. This was history cannot repeat, and resulted in Javier's elimination after a lot of survival by him. He lasted a long time with his name out there. It seemed like eventually, I was surprised there were enough people who could still vote for him, to be honest, because it seemed like so many people had voted for him already, but there were still probably like 3 or 4 people who hadn't.
I didn't vote Javier out that round. I voted Robyn out that round because I didn't want to vote Robyn out later on.
Yeah, and that's what I was afraid of. I was like, okay, people are talking about taking shots at people. I was like, that's a perfect time to take me out because it's history cannot repeat. I'm pretty sure nobody really voted me. So I was like, okay, Javier is a name that's been out there. I don't think a lot of people voted for him. So I was asking around, and then everybody kept saying, yeah, I haven't voted for Javier. So I'm like, that's perfect. And I did not want him to go because I was working closely with him. But at that point, I was like, it's either him or me. So I really went full force and pushed his name.
For sure. I didn't realize that I had been, like, I hadn't heard my name and nobody had said people are saying your name, because it sounds like some of those votes towards me had just been, like, tossed on me in previous rounds. So I was nervous that round, particularly because Audrey had announced that I voted for Jody when I did not vote for Jody, and then I was not safe. And so I thought that I voted for JL. Yeah, I voted for JL.
I was the one that voted for her, and then she didn't say my name, and I sat there and I was like, "What the fuck do I do?" And I
started talking right away, and I was like, "No, I did not me. I did not do that. Like, what are you saying?" And then I just dragged. So it was kind of whatever at that point, but I felt like it put a spotlight on me because my room at that point, I think it was just me and Dina. Dina was like, "What's going on? Why aren't you safe?" And I was like, now I didn't vote for the person who's gone. I'm still here, and I'm like eligible to be voted for. And so it was like a very stressful round because I didn't realize that my name had been votes had been put on it before. So I jumped on the Javier train pretty much as soon as it came because I hadn't voted for him yet.
Yeah, I was curious about that. I thought I heard wrong because at first it was, so she did say that. So that brought us to round 13, which was a double safety chain. The first, we also have Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hi. I wanted to say something about that round before y'all move on. Yep. The safety cannot repeat. So my strategy for that particular round is to say I can vote for everyone, because everyone's like asking everyone who they can vote for and who they can't vote for. And I just say I can vote for everyone, so no one knows who I've actually voted for. And it worked out. I can't remember who I voted for, though. But I just wanted to add that. And I'm here for a little bit.
Welcome. So that brought us to the double safety chain. I felt like it was used again just because it was, last night was a late one. It went pretty long considering as compared to most minis lately. Jennifer, you got safety first in the first round. Then it went to Robyn, JL, Dina, Legend, Mallory, Lana, and then Murphy. But 2 LOSs, which we thought would happen for the first time the night before, and then happened again that we had 2 LOSs played.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking, I thought I was about to get LOS out. So when it got down like Dina picking between like me or Mallory, I said, Dina, pick me. I said, I told you when Jody was coming after you. I said, pick me. And I wanted Lana to be safe over Murphy. I wanted Murphy leaving that first chain thing because I felt like Murphy, if she would have made it past those 2 little chain things, she would have definitely made it to that final because I think she's good at comps. or whatever. So I was a little worried about baby girl. So I'm like, no, she gotta go. And also, with that being said, Murphy would have gave that thing to Lana, and then Lana probably would have me because Lana would have realized, oh, Legend is out here trying to save me. So that was my train of thought.
It's interesting that you had me as such a target because while Lana, if I had gotten safety, I definitely would have given it to Lana if she was left. But you would have been next on my list for giving me like somebody that I felt like had my back, and so now I'm like.
No, like Murphy, let me just tell you, it was at that moment, I was like, everything that I noted about you had to come out. Like, it wasn't like I disliked you or anything. I liked you.
Oh, no.
And I wanted to work with you. But it was like, we're at the end. Everything that I noted about all these players has to come into play right now. This is like do or die, basically.
For sure. I like pretty much knew looking at that when we got into the room all together. I said, oh no, I got to the end with literally nobody that I've been working with so far, basically, except for Lana. So I said, if this wheel does not land on me or Lana, we're done for. So I knew that I had to play my LOS at that point. Like at the beginning of the round, I messaged Audrey and I was like, can I just play it now to like save the grease? Because I just knew it wasn't going to be me.
It took me a little bit longer to get to that conclusion, to be honest, Murphy, because I thought I was better with like Legend and Dina and Robyn and Jennifer than I was. And I thought I was higher on their list. I didn't realize that like you and me was really where it was at, and I like we didn't connect.
Lana, that's where you're mistaken. It wasn't. You were higher on my list than most of the people in there. It was Robyn, Dina, and you. Like you and Dina were fighting for my second spot. Lana, that's why I was trying to keep you safe. But the only reason why I kept Mallory safe was to respect Dina's wishes because I knew if the chain was to go back around, somebody was going to give it to Dina again, and Dina was going to be like, Legend, you didn't do what I told you to do the first time. So I'm like, oh, okay. Let me try to work out something for Lana with Mallory.
Right. And I know it's boring for the viewers to be like, oh, whenever someone keeps a person safe that the person before them told them. That's why when I gave it to Robyn, I was just like, I'll trust whatever you do. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you who to pick. Like, so,
Yeah, and I picked JL, and I wanted to do Dina, but I've developed a relationship in the game with JL, and I wanted her to be safe because I feel like, at that point, I was in an alliance with Legend and Dina as well, but I knew two people that were outside of that alliance that I knew I was good with, and that was Jennifer and JL. So I need to make sure they were safe. And when Jennifer got it, I was pretty sure I was getting it. And once I got it, I was like, I gotta save JL and make sure that she saves. I knew Dina was gonna give Legend.
Yeah, I knew that you knew you were getting it. But also, JL, because I haven't been on here yet, I just wanted to say I love you. You have the best personality ever.
I love that.
Oh my gosh.
I was just vibing.
I just had to tell you that.
She was drinking up her wine all night.
That's right. She was.
I'm gonna say Audrey. She tried to send me out. She talking about Legend is the one.
Yeah, we called you out. Legend does not have an LOS, and we're like, isn't it Mallory?
Yeah.
I was so shook. I was so I'm out. I said, oh my God.
Yeah. And then I knew our only chance at that point is if we could get Mallory to be like, oh, well, I got taken out, so now I'm going to let an underdog like be the head of the snake. And she didn't do it. So I just knew it was going to be me at that point as soon as Mallory didn't pick me or Lana at the beginning of that second snake. So
I know. And I'm sorry if you guys felt any type of way. We've just like worked closer all together during the game, I was surprised that we made it so far all together.
For sure. My game pretty much got stagnant kind of round 6 on because it was the musical chair twist, and my room was the first room to be locked. And then it was the Kevin Falk one, and I was in a room with him for a long time with that. Then it was the bomb, so it was just quiet that whole round while we were waiting for the bomb to come back up. And then I was on the flopping block every single round after, didn't have a vote at the later. And then I was glued also. So I just kind of was stuck and couldn't really make any relationships outside of, and I just kept seeing all the people that I was working with Jesse and Joey and Logan just walk right out the door. And so as soon as we got there, I was like, I haven't talked to any of these people, so this is not going to go my way.
Like that's kind of how I played the game. Like early on, I got locked into rooms with like JL, Lana, Robyn, and Dina or whatever. That's how I play the game. Whoever I like get locked in with first, I'm loyal. I am a loyal person to those people, no matter what. So we go see each other at the end because baby girl, I'm gonna drag you. We go drag each other there. That's how it is. That's how it is for me.
And I'm not gonna lie, there was a split second where like because I knew that Legend, Dina, and Robyn were a trio. I knew Murphy and Lana were together. And I knew me and Jennifer were basically in the same position at this point, just vibing. And I was like, I could disrupt this safety chain, but I don't think Murphy and Lana have me. So I was like, you know what? I'll go with the flow. Robyn told me to do something. I'm going to do it. But I had that thought. I had it in my head.
That's fair. And honestly, I think Lana and I's bond really only came from being like first-time players, and we were in a room. We kept just bumping into each other, and like had that like newness to us. Where like, you know, everybody is out here with their opinions about letting veterans get to the end. Well, like, I don't know who's a veteran coming into the game, and maybe that's the same.
I did not know Dina won 2 times. I was like, girl, what?
Yeah, for sure. Like that was like a shock to
Like,
me. Robyn was the only one we knew because she came right out in her intro video and said, "I'm a 10-time player." So she's the only person that I like had that knowledge.
I knew
about.
there's like no hiding me ever, so I just put it all out there.
Yeah, at some point you just have to say it. It's almost worse not saying it than it is saying it if you're that visible.
Yeah, I didn't think that people would remember me because it had been like months since I played. And the last time I played, I went out second. And the first time I played was like almost 4
3 months ago.
So, yeah, so I was like, I don't need to say it.
Murphy, I know that there was quite a commotion to get you to play on Twitter.
Yes,
I had heard of you before I had seen you, and they got you to play. Well, I guess first question I wanted to ask you, you got the Crockpot LOS, right?
I did get the Crockpot.
The Tommy
Yeah.
Crockpot.
Yes. Thank God I did, because I was so paranoid that it was me, probably from like 14 on, because I was on the flopping block almost every single time or eligible to be voted. And so it like taught me so much patience about just like, because it wasn't anything until it hit jury. So yeah, but I snagged it, and I was kind of bummed because not bummed. I'm so glad I made jury, but I would have been excited to will it to somebody too. So
yeah, I'm sure that'll happen next time. How was it playing after you were convinced to give it your first shot? How was it?
Yeah, very overwhelming. So one of my friends, Lee, put it out on Twitter that 10 retweets and I would apply after Audrey put out the call for more women, and it got a lot of traction. And so I got kind of lovingly bullied, positive peer pressured into playing. And I'm so glad I did. It was very overwhelming. I am really proud of the game I played. And it's been super cool to meet everybody. So would recommend if anybody is on the fence of applying, go for it.
Can we just say the women ate up this season?
Right.
Ate it up.
When you have an even cast gender, that's what happens, you know, when
The
women
women ate it up, and like the men were like, Legend, the girls are all here, and I said, oh yeah, I really don't care.
I know, Legend. There's one point when you said, "I'm gonna be the last guy left," and I don't care.
Yeah.
I want better with
Javier. I don't care.
Thank you for coming on, Murphy. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank
Bye,
you.
Murphy.
Bye.
All right, so that brought us to round 14. So this was, we played the match game. Robyn and Legend were safe and had immunity after that.
I was surprised
that was
did that.
stressing me
Oh
out.
my God, yes.
Not nearly as stressful as the next one, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. So this was the round. I was most confused by this round, not even because I don't think it was said at any point that JL you were going, aside from Lana, who you were asking for a name from. It's like, who else is there to vote? Lana said you, and then it seemed like everybody else jumped on voting you. Who actually did vote for you, though? That is what I was, because everybody said they did, but did everybody really vote for you?
Yeah, I didn't vote for JL.
Wait,
I voted for JL.
I think.
Thank you, Legend.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wait,
Okay.
which round are we
Okay,
on?
that's all good.
This
We're
was
on
final
the-
six. Final six.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I voted her.
The reason why at that point it was between Lana, Jennifer, and JL because Dina had a LOS and she was gonna play.
Yeah, I voted JL.
And she was like, I'm gonna play this for myself. And at that point, I had built a better relationship with Lana, so I wanted to keep Lana safe. And I knew that everyone was gunning for Lana. So I'm like, Lana, speak up. Like, who do you want, girl?
Yeah.
I didn't want Lana going home. I knew I was not voting for Lana. So I wanted Lana to give me a name indirectly to vote for, and I was going to vote with her no matter what. And then like Jennifer, I wasn't going to vote out Jennifer because me and Jennifer had ended up in a lot of rooms together to where like we built up a good rapport. And I was like, I like her, blah, blah, blah. Not saying that I don't like JL, but me and JL were in rooms a lot after we had that initial room. And I was just like, I had a good connection with her at the beginning, but we didn't get to grow that enough. But so that's why I voted her out.
Which is fair. I was just kind of, first of all, I stopped doing my notes at like round 12 because I thought it was gone. First of all, and then Jennifer made a point about how me and Lana weren't gonna win, and I was like, Lana, girl, you heard that, right? You heard that, like, and I was like,
I said that.
I don't know, somebody said.
Lana said that.
Yeah, Lana said me and you weren't going.
Yeah, and I was like trying to stir it up there. I'm like,
yeah, obviously y'all know I wanted Lana gone, even though I was like safe. I was like pushing really hard. I was like. But at the end, I did feel bad of everybody like ganging up on Lana. So Dina said she had an LOS, so I just threw my vote on Dina.
Oh, interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, because I remember
I didn't know JL was going, but I felt so bad.
When you were gunning for me, and then after Billy went, you said you hadn't voted for me. I thought it was like the same thing in that you had a very clear target, but when the target didn't go, you kind of mended fences a little bit with them by saying that you had.
Yeah, because I didn't vote her.
Yeah.
So
I thought
that was the
JL
truth.
was more of a threat, so that's why at that time I just took her out because you have a good social game, and I thought that you had connections with more people in jury.
Yeah, and the only thing that stressed me out about Lana as well is that Legend was protecting Lana a lot, and that scared me because I'm like, I mean, Legend, I knew you had my back, but I did, feel like you were going to cut me at some point, like going so hard to keep Lana. So that, I was afraid of
I love Lana.
happening.
I keep her safe.
I know.
But we gonna get to that part. We gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But,
So to finish off, final 6, JL, I felt like I don't think anybody saw you coming. I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see myself coming, to be honest with you. I was just like,
I was shocked.
Oh my gosh.
I was really shocked. I thought I was done.
Yeah, because I thought I'd at least have like maybe one of Robyn or Dina, because Dina the whole game was like, I'm loyal to you, and I was like, okay, girl, you're loyal to me. Like that was something tangible to me. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, Dina's not gonna vote for me. I'm like, we can tie it maybe because I'm obviously not gonna vote for myself, and I knew Robyn wasn't gonna vote for me, and then I got voted out, and I was like, oh, Dina played me, huh? And it was an honor.
Dina said something about wanting to keep me for 5 to vote out at 5, and that was, I think, her reasoning. And she did play her LOS on me just in case it was ineffective anyway. But I did start out with not a super strong argument because I didn't think it through quickly enough because I was trying to get like JL and Jennifer like let's band together.
Yeah.
No, that was a good argument, and that's what got me stressed. I'm like, oh, you're putting thoughts into these people's heads, like they're not gonna win. So I have to make a counter argument. I know I didn't have to at that point because I was safe, but I was like, oh no, we all played good, we all did good, we all could win this. Like,
Robyn was jumping out her skin.
Yeah.
All I meant by saying that was just I should.
No, I know what you meant. I just had to paint a target more on you, Lana.
Right. I just felt like anybody could have beaten me a lot easier than they could have beaten, you. Yeah. So that's why that's the argument that I was going for. It was just like, hey, don't put me out because I'm not winning.
See, this round I really wanted to go for either Dina or Robyn or even Legend. I knew those 3 were tight, and I was like, yeah, we're all playing to like lose at this point. And then Dina was like, I have an LOS. And I was like, I guess I'm shutting up now.
I would have voted out Dina that round had she not said she had an LOS.
Yeah, and that like threw a wrench in my plans. And I was like, I'm like,
we could have voted her too because she played
her LOS.
But I also didn't want to get yelled at by Dina because y'all know how that went
don't
for
worry. We
Jody.
could have handled that. That was.
But yeah, no, it was really fun.
Nah,
I think you would have had
player.
people back you up if she didn't have an LOS.
Yeah,
Legend itself would have jumped on that. For
I
you.
definitely would have jumped on that. I definitely would have took her out because I knew that her and Robyn were close. So I was trying to figure out a way to split them up. But when she said she had the LOS, I said, well, we got to go for the next best thing.
Yeah, it was a mess.
I think JL similar. I think to people not seeing your vote coming. I don't know if they saw you coming as a player either, and how strong you were. In the game.
A great game.
I'm friends with Sharifa, y'all. Like you.
Yeah, nobody knew that. Nobody knew that.
If I had known that, I mean, I already loved you, but you know.
Yeah, no, I know Sharif. I also know Rayanne, and I have a few friends who I pressured to play before. So I was like, let me see what happened. And then Rayanne kind of gave me like the strategy because Rayanne told me straight up, she's like, history can't repeat yourself. You're fucked. You better have an LOS. And I was like, great. But no, like I kind of knew what people do and what they don't do in the game. I didn't follow any of that because once you're thrown into the game, that goes out the window. So I sat there and I drank my wine, and I let the game happen a little bit. I also know in Sequester people from time to time they blow themselves up a little bit, and I didn't want to be that newbie who's like, let's get out the vets, because I knew like these people have played before, they know what to do, and I don't. So that was a strategy. But yeah.
JL, do you think you'll play again soon?
I'm signed up for a mini in November. I don't know. We'll see. It was really stressful. I've like put this off since March. So that was fine. But it was really stressful. It was really fun. I didn't expect to get as far as I did. I told myself I was getting first boot. Like
next time I'm gonna bring my wine glass so we can drink together.
Do it. I had like a bottle of wine right next to me, so like I could sneak it. It was fun. It was fun. But yeah, it was really great.
Thanks for coming on.
Congratulations, Robyn. By the way. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Bye.
Love you.
So great. Love her.
All right. So now this brought us to the stressful moment that was Tower of Hanoi, which made me realize before I play again, I need to at least look at that. So I'm not there all night.
When I saw the link, because obviously my degree's in math, and so when I saw that link that said like math is fun,
yes,
I was like, oh my gosh, it's
I said
math.
I could do some math problems.
And then when I opened it, I was like, oh no, I was the worst. I didn't even get one piece ever. It was awful.
When I tell you I was so far ahead for like a lot of it, and then I just
I heard Lana going far. I was like, oh fuck.
I know I had to pick up the pace because I'm like, I know, and then I heard Robyn and Lana like doing good, and I'm like, oh no, I got to pick up the pace because it was the struggle. I was sitting over here, I'm like, let me just start playing around. I kept restarting, and I'm like, let me play around, let me move it around, do something, and then it started working, and I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. So it was just doing it fast at that point where I knew what I had to do.
That's honestly my only regret from this game is not practicing that tower because I
literally practiced it yesterday before the mini. I was just like, in case.
Yeah.
And it didn't really help. Even though I was this close, she just announced legend and I got it. I was like,
I know, because I was sitting there done and I'm like, she ain't said nothing. So I went on and I said, I'm done. I wanted to make sure she did not try to send me out again. I'm done. Okay?
Yeah, I know. I'll probably spend hours and hours doing it, and then they'll move to something else by the time I play again. But yeah, it was stressful. So Legend and Dina were safe. Once again, Lana, I thought you were done, and once again, you did survive. This resulted in Jennifer's elimination.
I will say that I was pretty sure I was going because I knew Dina was. I knew Dina was going to vote for me. Because she did try and go for me earlier in the game. So I knew when it came down to it and she had a chance again, she was going to vote me. So I knew that was going to happen. And but I never confronted her about throwing my name out earlier in the game because I didn't want it to blow up. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Legend was saying he's going to vote for me. So I was like, all right, I already got two.
So this was my train of thought. This is my train of thought. I was like, I know Lana is probably the target, and I don't want Lana to go. So as soon as they take me off this motherfucking speaker, off this mute, I said I'm about to press play and I'm about to be like, I'm voting Jennifer. Because I just want to get that name out and be like, don't ask me no more questions. I'm voting Jennifer. You can't change it. Whoever want to vote with me, vote with me. So
Right.
I was throwing out a name first to get people's wheels turning and talking so that way they know Legends voted Jennifer. So if I don't want to go, I'm going to vote Jennifer.
Yeah, and honestly, my brain doesn't work as fast as other people's. So like y'all can come up with rebuttals super fast, and I'm just like, don't do that. Like I can't think of anything. And so I knew I was gone.
Yeah, when they said that, I probably knew you were done. And also, I think, I don't know, Dina's not here to obviously explain, but in my mind, I was like, they want to take Jennifer out because we're a pair, and if we make it to the final four, we would be good there, you know, between you, Legend, and Dina. You know, if they had voted you out there, I would be like, okay, Jennifer's not going to drag me. I'm not going to vote for her. It's going to be 2 votes, and I'm going to throw my vote. And you're not going to drag me, and I would have made the final 2. So I wasn't going to vote you there, but I feel like Dina recognized that we were a duo that she needed to take out there.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was. I feel like that was one. I mean, I already said it, but it was one of the best storylines of the night. Was the allegiance you two had with each other, and how it basically was. It seemed like it was to the end, and I think Dina realized
it was.
Yeah.
We just, we appeared in another game together, and I think the first night I could have voted. I could have gotten rid of Robyn.
Yeah.
And I pulled her in to talk to her. I pulled her in to talk to her, and we moved on. So yeah,
I love to see.
We're both in jury for that. Org.
Oh yeah, I totally. Oh, tonight.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, I was like,
you know what they say about orgs? They bring people together. Yeah.
We were super loyal to each other in that org.
Let me just say, Jennifer, I love you. You played a great game. You should be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Be proud of yourself.
Final 5.
Yeah.
Be proud of yourself. It was just the way. It was nothing personal. It was all game.
No, I was happy with it. I was happy with the way everything went. It was a very good mini for me to come back into.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we're happy you came back, and I mean, this is your best performance by far, and now you're back in the Sequester.
I played way different. I'm usually loud and confrontational, and this time I was very just laid back, and I guess that's the way to go. But anyways, all right.
Thank you for coming on.
Bye, Jennifer.
Good job, Robyn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So final 4: Legend, Dina, Lana, Robyn. So I feel like the main story was the drag situation with everyone just screaming at the top of their lungs, which was a lot of fun to watch. It seemed like, I don't know if there was too much. I feel like Dina considered for a second, but it seemed like the initial vote was Lana. Lana, do you think that there was anything you could have done to get the votes off of you there?
No, I didn't think that there was. I mean, I tried. It just was very clear at that point that Dina, Robyn, and Legend were a really tight 3, and I was the odd man out in that. I think, I mean, it probably, in retrospect, I probably should have argued, like, take me to the end no matter what. Like, you're going to, either any of you is probably going to beat me in the end. But I felt like they already kind of thought that about Legend, too, especially with Legend saying, oh, I want to go to the end with Robyn so she can win. So.
Okay, let me explain that comment. Let me just explain, because a lot of people were on the little Sequester thing. I got sent some whatever. Let me let y'all know this, baby girl. Y'all might not know me, but I'm from the Twitter streets, and I have won plenty of games. So don't even try me on that. I can whoop your ass at any final. Let me just let you know that right now. That is why my name is Legend. But what I was saying is, if I got to a final 2, I would rather lose to Robyn than to Dina. But not saying that I was going to lose. I was going to fight my heart out in that final 2. But if I was to lose to anybody, whether it was Dina or Robyn at that point, I would have rather lost to Robyn than it was to Dina.
Legend, you probably could have won next to me. Did you ever consider that?
I'm just saying, Lana, let me just tell this. If I was to vote out Dina with you, I feel like Dina would have dragged me. I feel like she would have dragged me. But the reason why I voted out you, Lana, was because I felt like you would have repaid me and been like, Legend just say me, these last 2 rounds, I stuck my neck out. I said, I'm about to save Lana, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like Lana would have been like, all right, Legend just say me these last 2 rounds. Dina over here trying to manipulate me. Let me drag her. Or Robyn. But I just didn't. I just wanted to take my game into my own hands and be like, I want Robyn there, no matter what. It wasn't that I was going to be like this. Like, if y'all was to ask me a question, Final 2, I'd be like, let Robyn win. No, I'm going to speak. I got a voice box and I'm going to use it. So
and you're confident in your game. You know what you did.
Yeah,
you know
I know what I did. I'm just saying, what I was saying was, if I wanted anybody else to win other than myself, it would have been Robyn. So that's how I think of a Final 2. Like, who would I want to win against? Who would I want to lose against? All right. So that's what I was thinking.
Sure. And also, I think I could have given a really compelling speech in Final 2.
Yeah, she really could. She got saved twice. Like,
that was a fear of mine with Lana too. That her making it to the end too. She has a great story.
She does.
She survived twice when she's supposed to be like gone. Like,
I was never a target until that round.
Yeah, I never said Lana's name. I never voted her. Never threw a vote on her. So that Final 4 in all, we all.
Yeah, all 4 definitely could have won. I think everybody had a very legitimate story. I think for Lana, for you specifically, like a lot of people watching were rooting for you because everybody loves an underdog. Like you had your back against the wall for so many rounds there in the end game and kept surviving. And B, your overall Sequester story and the fact that you were a fake player the first time you played, and you were a mole and did really well as someone who wasn't in the game, but survived a long time and then came in and actually played and made the Final 4. And if you made the Final 2, I think that would have been very convincing.
Yeah, I just was totally saying that as a strategy to get them to take me to the end. Also, like, I think because of the way that the jury was made up, who was in the jury, there's so much respect around both Dina and Robyn's names that, like, just by virtue of me like being a newbie and being a new person, it probably would have been determined as like not my time yet to win. You know what I mean? Whereas I think that the other 2 just definitely command a lot of respect in the community. Not saying that I didn't have a chance or that I didn't have one, but I just felt like that was my best shot. And that was why I played that way on purpose. I keep you guys in because I knew that I always get kind of targeted for being a social threat just because I have a big personality. I make social connections really easily. So I knew I needed to keep you guys in as long as possible because if you weren't there, then it would have been me going for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with how I played. I think I got as far as I possibly could.
Yeah. Thank you for reversing your drag. We love that.
And
we love that.
We don't.
I'm sorry, Legend.
Yeah, I didn't think you. When Legend was like throwing out Dina, I was with him. I was like, I don't want to sit next to Dina. Drag Dina.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't want to sit next to her. Da, da, da. I'm throwing everything. I was throwing the camera at you, and she was like, she's
like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, let me just say, this is when I started yelling because usually I'm a confrontational.
I got dragged, so I had to yell. I was like, nope.
Usually I'm a confrontational person, but like in this being my first Sequester game, I was just like, I'm gonna just play. But like when Lana was like, Legend, I'm not dragging you at all, I said, oh, this is my time to act up. I said, let me throw the whole kitchen sink on Dina and try to get her ass out. And then when Lana dragged me, I said, I know the fuck she Lana.
Yeah, that was bad because I thought Lana would never like turn against you because you stood up for her. But I think Lana had a good reason behind what she did. But
yeah, she did. She definitely did.
I mean, honestly, I didn't think about it a lot. I kind of just opened up my mouth and Legend's name came out. I'm sorry. It honestly was a gut reaction. I was like, okay, who do I want this Final 2 to be? And I thought that Dina and Robyn were the best players in the game. Legend, you also played amazing. No, that is no shade towards your game whatsoever. I think you also played an incredible game. But it just, my gut said make Dina and Robyn be the Final 2, and that's what happened.
And hold up, another thing. Also, for the people, this is for the Sequester people who said that I was throwing my game for Robyn. Why did I win immunity twice in a row if I was throwing my game to Robyn? If I did not want to win, I would have lost immunity and I would have been like, vote me out. So, baby girl, don't ever try it with me. I won immunity twice in a row because I wanted to stay and I wanted to win.
I was curious because you did say it at one point. So I think that is why people thought that. So it was a question of, was that a strategy just to get to the end, or
I
were
feel
you
like
actually?
usually when you offer your head on a platter yourself, people will be like, "Nah, we're not gonna do that. Let's do something else." That's usually what people do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's reverse psychology.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that with what Legend was doing, it did kind of scare me too, because he's laying down his game. People are gonna be like, "Well, Robyn is this big threat. She's gonna win. You know, let's get her out. We don't want a vet to win this game."
I also felt like just the vibes that I was getting, just my observations about the jury and everything. I felt like if I had not dragged Legend, I would have effectively been choosing the winner. And no offense, Legend. And I didn't really want to do that. So I wanted it to be
I thought I had a good chance up against Robyn.
I think you would have gotten both.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought I would have won against Robyn, just to be honest.
Interesting. See, I thought you would have had a better shot against Dina.
Think so, but yeah.
Yeah. So what did Robyn go?
I don't think you win against me. I think you win against Dina, because I probably would have voted you.
And I think you would have beaten me, Legend, as well.
Oh, chill. I don't know if I would have beat you, Lana, because she would have been like, Legend, a dumbass for saving me twice and then making me in the final two. I wouldn't have whooped Lana. Lana would have whooped me.
Robyn, what were you thinking going into 2? Did you think you had it? Did you think that was the
No, I sat there twice and I did not get it. I'll say it again, as I've always said, sitting in the final 2, I get very nervous. My anxiety starts going up, and I have self-doubt in myself, and especially sitting next to Dina, who is very good at remembering things that she's done in the game, and like she's very articulate with how she speaks, and I'm like, I don't know what I did in the game really, besides my name not really coming up and certain little moves that I did, but I didn't really play a big of a game that I feel, I played really under the radar. So I was afraid that because of the jury questioning, that I was going to lose.
Yeah, I think people forget that too, is that like your history in Sequester is you started in the final. Like your first game you were final to, and you came in second place. And then since then there's been all a variety of finishes, but you were very close the first time you ever played.
Yeah, and I sat next to Susie, so being next to Dina, 2-time winner, I was like, oh, well, I'm fucked here.
I did vote for Dina, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like she had the more compelling final 2 argument, but
that's what I was afraid of. I'm like, well, she can articulate her game better. We're in the sense of like I had the more social connections with people, and I feel like that's what helped me get that one vote.
But you were both extremely deserving, and Legend and myself. I think we
Lana, you played a great game.
This final 4
underdog story.
Yeah.
Great one.
Yeah, nobody ever came for me ever until that end.
Yeah, until the end.
I can't believe I like fought through like 3 rounds of safety for my life. That was stressful. It was like I was totally safe and comfortable the whole game until like as soon as 6 then it was like claws came out.
It gets stressful at jury. It really does.
It does.
That's when you have to push the names and just be vocal.
Yeah, it was one of the more stressful final 4 situations I've seen on Sequester for sure.
It was a lot. I'm glad I moved my LOS and did not play it before the safety chain. Because there were a couple times where I was tempted, but I felt like I was pretty good. So
Lana was sitting there. She said, I can't understand none that y'all saying. Y'all all yelling at me. She was just sitting there. And we all just kept yelling after hearing that. We did not shut up.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what was said in that argument, to be honest.
Me neither. I don't know what the hell was said.
Yeah.
Everything.
Me too. I was gonna be with Legend. I was like, yep, we're gonna try to get Dina out here and get her dragged.
But that was kind of like what led to me just blurting out Legend was like, okay, if you're all gonna turn blue in the face arguing over this, clearly you want it really bad. So Legend, sorry, you didn't scream enough.
I screamed.
You did, but then Robyn.
You screamed for Dina to go and not to protect yourself. I was like, don't drag me.
Dina is very you gotta respect her. You gotta give credit where credit is due.
No.
She is a boss. She is straight a boss. So I was like,
I'm a powerhouse.
Scared of her. So I'm like,
I'm scared too.
Her. I said she gonna eat me up.
She's good.
It was.
Dina gotta go. I had to come up with some type of something of a reason of why Dina gotta go.
It was overall, it was an incredible game, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Robyn, I'm so excited that you're going to be in Winners at War now. I feel like
God, and there's no pre-gaming.
No pre-gaming. You don't get to experience what everyone else.
No, I don't have to go through all that headache because I really hate like the pre-game stuff.
Yeah, Legend and Lana, I feel like you are both going to be back. I don't think that there's any question about it. I think you're both all-stars for sure coming up. Like,
me and Lana are the duo y'all never knew y'all needed.
No,
it's true. I didn't know it.
Yeah,
now I do.
Because like literally, we ate those around.
We did, and we were together early on too, like very early on.
Okay. The reason why me and Lana got together was because we was in the room with Charlie, and that was the room number 4, and it kept landing on us, and I was like, "Oh, I got good vibes." I said, "Okay, I'm good with Lana. I'm good with Charlie." Period. I said, "I'm sticking."
That was so stressful when it was me, you, and Charles in that room. I was like, we have to be safe.
And then we got saved 4 times, and I was like, "Period."
That was the most stressful moment of the whole game for me, honestly. It was when I thought that like one of us was gonna have to go. That was so bad.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we got to do that.
Yeah, let's go around and get everyone's final thoughts. Show the Twitter. Lana, how was it playing officially for the first time?
Actually, it was so fun. I honestly was just like, I can't do worse than my placement when I wasn't actually playing. So I was glad to make it past those first couple of rounds. I don't have any regrets about my game. I think I made the best strategic moves that I could have possibly. I think I just kind of went with the flow, tried to jump onto the majority vote, tried to protect my allies, but not fight too hard. Definitely tried to use Dina and Robyn and Legend as shields for me, which worked out really well. Only regret, again, is not being good at puzzles. So one of these days, I'm going to work on those skills.
Yeah, that's something you can practice. That'll work well.
Exactly.
Legend, how about you?
I just want to say this is my first Sequester game, and it was very hectic. This was like crackhead mode 10,000 or whatever, and I played a lot of games before, but this game was like I had the best time, and like being surrounded by so many powerful and strong women. Like so many women go out in this game first, and I was like, no, I want to see women at the end. So I was just so happy to see all the females make it so far. And I loved it. I enjoyed everything. And you might see me again. You might not. You never know.
You got to come back. You're coming back. And then finally, the final word, the new champion on her birthday.
Oh my God.
Queen of Queens.
Yes. Like I've been planning to apply for this date for a long time because I knew if I'd won, it was going to be on my birthday. So I definitely manifested this win. Thank you all who voted for me. It was such a great night. I was so stressed, but that's every Sequester game. And you guys will see me again. From 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be in the All Asians Mini. So I'm excited for that one.
I'll be watching.
It's not over just because she won. You will still see Robyn.
Yes.
I'll never win again, but you know, I only needed 1 crown.
Period.
Well, thank you all for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to the audience for watching. The Middle East Mini, I believe, has started. So y'all go over there and watch that. And we will, as always, have further coverage and go to Tommy's friend thing tonight. That will be a lot.
Yes, I will be there.
Thank you so much for hosting us, Louie. This was
thank you, Louie.
Of course, anytime. Thank you all for coming on. Until next time, everybody, we will see you out there. Goodbye.